How about those Devils? How about those Devils? How about those Devils? How about those Devils?
I'm going to hit it one more time.
How about those Devils? How about those Devils?
How about those Devils? Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. Oh, man, did they need this one? As you are all well aware, our beloved New Jersey Devils riding a painful, excruciatingly painful 4-game losing streak, heading into Hughes Bowls 3 in Minnesota, taking on the Wild. A couple hours before the game, we hear the head-scratching news that Dougie Hamilton will be back in the lineup and Simon Nemec will be scratched. I'll get more to that later. Super bizarre situation there with a lot to unpack, but we'll get to that later. But the New Jersey Devils go out there and in the third Hughes Bowl find a way to dig deep and manufacture a beautiful 5-2 victory. I must ask, I must know.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Now, listen, guys, before I get into the game, let me just be the first to say my long-term kind of outlook on this team has not changed. Now, I will enjoy win or lose, we booze, guys, by the way. Obviously, victory drinks. I'm going back to the Nooners. Win or lose, we booze. We've been drowning our collective sorrows in loser beverages for far too long. Cheers to all of you. We're back in the win column. Victory drinks, and I'm going to enjoy this for a moment, but it's one game. I'm not going to get too high or proclaim we're back or anything like that, because I've already told you guys, I mentally accepted weeks ago that this was going to be a season of pain and misery, and it would likely end in this club missing the playoffs. Now, I would love to be wrong. Would love nothing more to be wrong. I'm not one of these people that likes to dwell in negativity, and quite frankly, I wish there was never a reason to be negative. I wish it was sunshine and rainbows all the time. However, in the honest approach that I will always take, I will call it like I see it. And as of late, it has been very negative. And so I've been very negative because we're living in a very negative time. But as you all know, I live and die with this team like most of you. Always want to see them win. I will never give up. I will always watch, always root for the boys. Love this team, hate the organization, and will continue to celebrate with victory drinks for every single game that this club wins. And they needed this one so badly because everything is down right now. Morale is down. It couldn't have came at a better time. Everyone thought we were going to get spanked. I will say I did predict a Devils 3-2 victory prior to the game. And I'm even more happy with the 5-2. But overall, I'm going to keep it 100 with all of you. Great win. Need to build off it. Nothing has changed in terms of my long-term outlook for this team. I still think sweeping changes need to be made. But I'm going to bask in this victory, guys, and I'm going to have multiple victory drinks with all of you. Cheers. We've all waited so long for this. I know a lot of you are going to jump the gun and be like, we're so back, baby. And like, that's clearly not the case. This team has been a case of Jekyll and Hyde for quite some time. You never know which team you're going to get. Tonight, we got the team that is capable of winning a gutsy road game by a score of 5-2 over a very good Wild team. But let us not forget, this same team got shellacked by the Islanders in one of the most embarrassing losses, 9-0, less than a week ago. And so, again, long-term outlook, I am hoping and wishing for the best. Not much has changed, in my opinion, in terms of the overall team, but I certainly am ecstatic with the win. I know all of you guys are. We'll get to all the other stuff afterwards, but we're going to get into the game, folks. Oh, we are going to get into the game. And a lot of goals for the boys in this one. First period, Devils dump it in relentless. And when I say relentless, I mean relentless. An absolutely relentless forecheck by Nico Hischier. He absolutely abuses Faber behind the net. Strips the puck from Brock Faber. It was a thing of beauty. He glides behind the net. He's got his head up. He's looking to see who's going to get open in front, looking for options. He finds Mercer in front, feeds him beautifully, and Dawson Mercer fires a beautiful snapper past Wallstead at 10:07, giving the Devils the 1-0 lead. Mercer's 12th of the season from the captain. What a beautiful setup, and you cannot say enough. I mean, this team did look like a different team tonight. It was like, who the hell are these guys in Devils jerseys? Getting in after the forecheck, getting to the net, just doing all the things that we've all been begging to see for quite some time, and we haven't. And they looked like a team desperate for a win tonight, and when you play desperate, good things happen. Mercer reemerges from the slumber he was in. 12th of the season from Nico, gives the Devils the 1-0 lead. And that is how the first period would end. And a lot of people, I think, were shocked. And it was like, wow, maybe these boys came to play tonight. We get to the second period. Devils exhausted in the D zone. And on this shift, for anyone who was not sure about Quinn Hughes, if you were paying attention, this guy was flying all over. He was at the point on both sides. He was down low. He was just active everywhere. Devils getting tired out. Faber gets the puck at the point and just fires it on net. Tons of traffic in front. Hartman gets the deflection, ties it up at 1 at 13:41 of the second. And another thing I haven't liked about this Devils club for quite some time is that they just cannot protect the net well. Like, how many shots have, and especially against Markey, and not to bash him, but, great game by Markey, by the way. He does give a lot of, point shots up, but a lot of it is like, get these guys out of there, man. Back in the day, and again, I hate to be this person, but back in my day, if you're packing guys up in the crease in front of Marty and trying to, screen him and stuff, like, our defensemen were going to give you hell. You were going to get slashed on the back of the legs. You were getting the business cross checks to the back. Like, you were getting cleared out. Obviously a different game and it's not all the same, but we allow guys to just stack it up in front of the goaltender way too much. This was another case of it. I was furious at this point. I did believe when the Devils were up 1-0, I did think the next goal would win the game. So if the Devils took the 2-0 lead, I thought they were going to win. And I unfortunately believed that if the Wild tied it, eventually they would win. So happy to be wrong about that in my kind of mental internal clock there. But all tied up in the second, and late in the second, this was just absolutely beautiful. I cannot say enough how it was a thing of beauty. Bear with me. I just lost my my screen just froze. Time winding down the period. Siegs has it at the point, and great heads up by play by Siegs. You cannot discredit this. Instead of ripping it on the net, he just kind of shoots it wide of the net intentionally. It comes off the end wall. Nico gets it. He does a little spin move through a Wild defender, takes it to the front of the net, and then instead of Nico trying to get a shot on goal, he just passes it across towards Pally, and Pally buries it. My computer's freaking out. Bear with me, guys. This is ridiculous. Beautiful goal by Pally at 19:52 with 8 seconds left. His third of the season from Nico Hischier, and Siegs give the Devils the 2-1 lead.
He's got 2 cups, and that's a lot. Ondrej Palat.
Got 2 cups, and that's a lot. Ondrej Palat, a much targeted man due to his $6 million a year cap hit. Then I've defended Pally a lot. I do like Pally. He plays a lot harder than a lot of these guys on this team, obviously not giving us $6 million worth of value. But another guy that picks a great game to emerge from a slumber late in the period, gets his third from Nico and Siegs, gives the Devils a 2-1 lead, a back-breaking goal against the Wild. And the Devils go into the third period with a 2-1 lead. And at this point, I'm like, please, God, can we just find a way to close this out and win this game? Can we please not melt down in typical Devils fashion? And can we just get this so necessary win and stop the bleeding? We get to the third period. We get to that third period. Dougie skates the puck out of the D zone. And again, Dougie, maybe the scratch did wonders for him. We'll talk about all the Dougie stuff and the drama, afterwards. But Dougie skating the puck out of the D zone makes a nice bang pass off the boards to Jack Hughes. And then Dougie just immediately starts flying up the middle of the ice towards the net. Jack gets it back to Dougie. Dougie pulls Quinn Hughes towards him, the last line of defense of the Wild. Quinn Hughes kind of converges on Dougie. Dougie gets it across to Bratter, and the Bratter beats Wallstead.
Jesper Bratt, tit-a-tat, where my boy at?
Jesper Bratt, tit-a-tat, where my boy at? Another guy who's been kind of sleepy for a long time. Bratter picks up his 10th of the season at 728 from Dougie and Jack Hughes, giving the Devils a 3-1 lead. And at that point, maybe crazily, I was like, we got this game. I don't know why. Maybe because it's arguably one of the best performances we've seen from this Devils team all season, and definitely in a very long time. When Bratter got that, I was like, we're winning this game. I just felt it. You saw the boys were fired up. A lot of people commented about the lack of celebration after the goals after the last game. I don't look too much into that. I do think that was more of a function of, they knew we were on a horrible slide, and, I don't know, maybe there is something there. I didn't look too much into that, but definitely saw emotion all over their face tonight. Bratter's 10th of the season gives the Devils the 3-1 lead, and a mere 21 seconds later, the puck gets to Dougie at the point. He fires it on net, and Bratter with the beautiful tip-in right in front for his second goal of the game 21 seconds later.
Jesper Bratt, tit-a-tat, where my boy at?
Where my boy at? Jesper Bratt, 2 goals, 21 seconds apart, picks up his 11th of the season at 7:49 from Dougie Hamilton and Brendan Dillon, giving our beloved New Jersey Devils a 4-1 lead. And now you're like, let the good times roll. I already opened the victory beverage. I was like, this is a victory beverage night. I cannot wait to party with the crew. Victory beverage officially cracked for me at that point. Less than 2 minutes later, another great Devils play. And you have to look, when you look back at these Devils goals, they really were hard. Most of them are, I'm trying to think which one. They were all pretty damn hardworking goals that required a sequence of good plays and individual efforts, more so than a lot of goals you've seen the Devils score this season. It was just a gritty, grindy kind of game on the road. The boys got it done, but a couple minutes later, Nico fighting on the wall. He gets it in deep. Pally comes flying in on the forecheck and absolutely crushes somebody. Nico's kind of trailing him. Nico gets in there and gets the puck away from Quinn Hughes, of all people, and the puck trickles out in front to Mercer. Mercer has it right in front and gets it immediately across to Pally, and Pally buries it at 9:39.
He's got 2 cups, and that's a lot. Ondrej Palat.
He's got 2 cups, and that's a lot. Ondrej Palat, and he also has 2 goals on the evening. Pally's 4th of the season at 9:39 gives the New Jersey Devils the 5-1 lead, assisted by Dawson Mercer. You absolutely love to see it. I really wanted the Pally hat trick. Many of you know I actually put on X. If you're not following me on X, follow me on X, running with NJD. But I was like, double shift Pally. I want to see the Palat hat trick. Obviously, it didn't happen, but Devils up 5-1. And then unfortunately, what I think was kind of a bogus penalty call on Dilly late results in the Wild getting a garbage time goal with 19 seconds left. Shot on goal. Markey makes the big save. Foligno's there to put in the rebound. And that kind of sucked. You could tell Markey was kind of pissed. I wanted Markey to just, end the game with only the 1 goal to help his stats and his confidence and everything. I'm sure he's still very, confident after that game. But what a game. Bratter with 2 goals, Pally with 2 goals. We'll get into all the player stats momentarily. We'll get to the game stats. The Devils 29 shots on goal, Wild with 22. Devils getting the better of the faceoff percentage, 59.3 to 40.7%. Devils 0 for 2 on the power play. Would like to see that get cleaned up, and that's been kind of a thing we've been talking about for a while. Special teams continuing to struggle. Power play kind of sloppy. The powerless play continues, but 0 for 2 on the power play. Luckily, it didn't come back to bite us tonight. Wild go 1 for 2 on their power play. Devils 18 hits, the Wild with 16 hits. Devils 19 block shots, Wild with 14 block shots. Devils 12 giveaways, Wild 15 giveaways. The Devils with 3 takeaways, and the Wild with 4 takeaways. And we get to the player stats. Hold on, guys. I would like to cheers to all of you. How good do these victory drinks taste, guys? It's been so long. Just drowning our sorrows in loser beverages. And tonight we return to victory drinks. Cheers to all of you, especially coming out on a little bit of a later night. Cody Glass gave us that injury scare. I think it was in the second period. He has a shot, a block, and 2 hits. The captain, Nico Hischier, with 2 beautiful assists on the night, finishes a +3, 2 shots and a block. Pally with the 2 goals, +2. 2 shots on 2 goals. Not too shabby for Mr. Palat. 1 block, 4 hits for Pally. Love to see it. And one of them was big on that goal. Timo Meyer, 2 shots, a block, 2 hits. Jesper Bratt, 2 goals, a +2, 4 shots, a block, and 2 hits. Grits, I thought, was a little quiet tonight. That line, had their moments. But Jack Hughes, an assist, 3 shots, a block. Dawson Mercer, a goal and an assist, +2 on the night, a shot, a block, and a hit. Brendan Dillon, 2 shots, 3 blocks, 2 hits. Dougie Hamilton, come on down, young man. Oh, I can't forget Dilly's assist. An assist, +3, 2 shots, 3 blocks, 2 hits. Great game for Dilly. Dougie Hamilton, 2 assists, a +3 in 1908 on ice. 2 shots, 2 blocks. Kovacevic, 2 blocks and 2 hits. Brett Pesce, 2 shots and a block. Luke Hughes, 3 shots, a +1. And Markey makes 20 saves on 22 shots. Would have loved to see him finish the game with the 1 goal, but, what are you going to do? They got that one in garbage time. The deserve to win a meter. I'm not going to lie. I was a little shocked by this one. And again, it just shows that it's kind of a silly thing, but I like to look at it. Devils 27.3 deserve to win to the Wild 72.7%. That one was a little baffling. I thought that one may have been a little bit closer to 50-50, but I mean, the Devils outshot them and, I don't know, but deserve to win a meter, inaccurately predicting the Wild to win this one, and the New Jersey Devils roll on to victory. And these victory drinks are just phenomenal, guys. What else do I got here? This is courtesy of the people fighting in the chat. Play nice, kids. This is a good time. Don't be attacking each other. Enjoy these times. Everyone's fighting in the chat. All right, so this is courtesy of MSG Networks. Wild night tonight. I like that. Dawson Mercer with the goal and the assist. Pally, 2 goals, snapping a 19-game goal drought. Nico Hischier, 2 assists, his 5th multi-assist game of the season. Bratter with 2 goals, his 2nd multi-goal game of the season. Would have liked to see that, the fact that it's taken this juncture of the season for a 2nd multi-goal game. Would like to see more of those, and hopefully it's a sign of things to come. And Dougie Hamilton, one of the central figures of the soap opera. 2 assists, his 2nd multi-assist game of the season. And wow, before I dive into the comments, just to touch on the Dougie thing, despite him playing well tonight, I did and do think this was a gross miscalculation. Now, whether this was a Sheldon Keefe decision, a Tom Fitzgerald decision, a decision by committee, I think scratching Nemo, a kid who Keefe before the last game called him our best defenseman before he got hurt. Keep that in mind. Keefe, the last game when he was coming, when he decided to scratch Dougie for Kovacevic, said Nemo was our best defenseman before he got hurt. This kid, Nemo, has won more games single-handedly than pretty much every single person on our roster, going back to a double overtime playoff game thriller. All the magic, his hat trick against the Capitals in overtime earlier in the season. He had the shootout goal winner. I forget against who. It may have been Vegas. But a kid who I thought, listen, he had a little bit of an up and down season last year, obviously having a breakout year this season. He got hurt. He's trying to get back to form. I thought scratching him in place of Dougie Hamilton, a guy who has 1 foot out the door and we're clearly trying to trade, I think is negligence, in my opinion. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and a lot of people will probably be swayed by the fact that Dougie had a very good game tonight, but it doesn't change things. They're desperately trying to trade this guy. He's got a foot out the door, and you scratch Nemo, a kid who's part of the future, who's had a great season, had a rough game the other night. Listen, I'll be the first to say he had a shit game, but you're not worried about his confidence. Keep in mind, when Keefe was asked a week or two ago about potentially benching or scratching Luke Hughes, he was like, oh, he's a young player and this is going to happen. And I don't want to do anything like that because we might not get him to play good for weeks or something like that. That was a loose paraphrasing, but that's what he said when he was asked about benching Luke Hughes. And so it's like, okay, well, if that was your logic for never taking any sort of disciplinary action whatsoever against Luke Hughes, why do you not have that same energy for a guy like Nemo when, again, he should be, barring him getting traded, he has a long-term future here and is a kid trying to work back from injury. Where is that energy for Nemo? And again, I don't want to keep harping on this, but clearly there is a double standard. Nemo has been treated wildly different than Luke Hughes. Luke Hughes had a pretty bad game last game as well, despite putting up some points. He was front and center for several goals against. And so I'm not saying that Luke Hughes should have been scratched tonight. What I'm saying is, for tonight's game, I would have kept Dougie out again, and I honestly thought Dougie should have been out of the lineup until we eventually trade him. Now, this fiasco may get worse because there may be a scenario where Dougie is not traded for a while or potentially till the summer. What a fiasco this is now with all this information getting out. He's trying to trade him, this and that. And it's now just opened up a Pandora's box, in my opinion, because now what the hell do you do next game, right? What do you do next game? Because Keith earlier today, when was talking about the lineup changes for tonight on defense, said that I talked to Nemo and I reassured him he's going to be right back in there after this game. This is a one-game thing only. Okay, so now you're on record saying you told Nemo and you told the whole world that Nemo will be in the next game. Dougie had a great game tonight, and you're trying to trade him. So are you going to pull him back out of the lineup? That doesn't seem too logical either, which brings me to the only possible scenario, in my opinion, which is now we're going to hear some sort of story that, Kovacevic is working his way back in off a long-term injury. He played back-to-back games. He's a little sore or something, and we're going to give him some rest. If I had to predict, I would say we're going to hear something like that for the next game. Kovacevic is going to come out, and we will see Dougie and Nemo both in the lineup. Now, again, I could be wrong. This is me purely guessing and speculating, but you're on record saying Nemo's coming back in. And how do you pull Dougie back out after he responded the way he did? And so it's a mess. It's a complete mess. The only solution is to have Dougie traded out of here as soon as possible. And listen, you guys know I'm a Dougie guy. I do like Dougie. I've defended him forever. A lot of people have been super down on him this year, kicking his back in. I'm not one of those people. But now we are in a situation where we have one too many right-handed D. We need Dougie's $9 million. And so now the only solution there is to remotely fix this is to trade Dougie, and it needs to happen immediately. Every day that Dougie is here, this thing has the potential to get messier and messier. So now my attention turns towards what the hell do you do next game? Because you've already said Nemo's back in. You can't go back on that. And pulling Dougie out would be pretty insane, in my opinion, given that he responded that way, and you're trying to trade him. Maybe this, got teams a little more excited. I've said before, I don't think his trade value is going up too much or down too much from where it is now. I think it's going to be largely unchanged. Maybe a couple good games will kind of ignite the flame of any deals you've had potentially brewing. I don't know. I don't think it's going to change it too much. And so now you have a mess. You have a total mess. Prediction, Kovacevic is sore, something along those lines. We're going to give him the game off, and then you will now have managed to piss off half of the D-core inside of a week. You pissed off Dougie. You pissed off Nemo. Now you're going to piss off Kovacevic, and it's a complete debacle. And once again, everyone has to keep their eyes on the prize. This was a beautiful win. I'm ecstatic. But Tom Fitzgerald must go. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And the circus kind of news that's coming out of all of this, it's going to continue till Dougie's out of here. It's an unfortunate situation. I do love Dougie. I will miss him. But at this point, this has become a soap opera. We need the $9 million. And so, I don't know. I'm curious to see when I get to the comments what you guys think about this defensive situation we have here. But now I go to the comments. But let me first crack my next victory drink. Oh, the set. When it hits your lips. Oh, my God. How good does it taste? I've forgotten. Official D-Head, thank you for the super. We won't winning the next 5. We won't win the next 5. I'm not really sure. You're going to have to clarify, but thank you for the super. Jersey Mike 97, thank you for the super. What's up, Ace? What are your thoughts on Bratt's game, and what part of Jersey do you live in? I'm in Manasquan, and do you think this game is a turning point? Hold on, bear with me 1 second. I just got to run out. I'm dying. Hold on. Okay, so my thoughts are when Jesper Bratt is on, like many other guys on our team, he's a good hockey player. Consistently inconsistent, like the rest of this team. I love Bratter, but we have to call it like it is. And the reality is we needed him to step up big time when Jack was hurt, and he went ghost like the rest of the team. But great game from Bratter. Again, showed when he's on, he's a very dangerous player. Great game for him. 2 goals. Love to see it. Hopefully, this is kind of the opening of the dam and the floodgates open for everybody. And we'll see. I live in northern New Jersey, in Passaic County, about 20 minutes away from the Prudential Center. You're in Manasquan. Okay. I've had some great nights in my early and mid-20s in Manasquan. Jersey Shore summers. Absolutely love it. And as far as do I think this game is a turning point? I hate to be negative, but I'm going to say no. I've told everybody, and I kind of said it at the beginning of the show here, I am not going to be emotionally sucked back in terms of expectations. Now, again, I live and die with this team. I love this team. I'll always root for them. Always want to see them do well. But in terms of expectations, I was super high on the team in the summer. I was floating on cloud 9 during the 8-game heater. And everything changed for me, I don't know, a few weeks or a month ago, because I just saw too many things that are characteristic, or I should say not characteristic, of true contending teams. And so I fully came to grips over the course of a few days, and again, this is a few weeks, a month ago, came to terms with the fact that there is a very, very good chance this Devils team does not make the playoffs. And it broke my heart. It was kind of like a moment of silence, grieving period. And again, I would love to be wrong about this. I don't like to dwell on negativity. Like I said, I just unfortunately will when I think it's called for. And as of late, there's been nothing positive, and it has been negative. And it kills me when I have to talk about those things and during terrible times. And we're still kind of living in one. This is a nice little moment of sunshine on the season. But I'm not going to call anything a turning point until we see consistent efforts from this team and they consistently play well and show an effort. It's one thing to lose games, but it's a whole nother thing to lose games in the fashion that we have been losing as of late, getting completely shellacked, laying down and dying, showing no emotion, no fire, no anything, no one taking a penalty, no one trying to get a fight, no one, looking for a thunderous hit, no one looking to do anything to snatch momentum back, and just kind of been like, oh shucks, we're down, and then just kind of giving up. And so I have seen a lot of things that worry me about this team, things that I don't like, and things that I think need to be addressed in the way of bringing in players from the outside who will help change the identity of this team. Because in the end, this team is flawed in a bunch of ways. And despite those flaws, because of the talent that they have, they are capable of winning games like they did tonight. But I will not be duped in the way that this will reel me back to the hopes and dreams and expectations I had for this team, a month ago. That kind of thought process for me personally has died, and it will remain dead for quite some time until I see a much larger body of work where they, again, consistently win games, and even in the losses are in the game, show some fight, so show some pushback. And so, I will be the first to tell you if I'm ever fully emotionally at the level I was before. I don't think it will happen. But crazier things have happened. As we all know, hockey's a crazy game, crazy sport. Crazier things have happened, but it is going to take a hell of a lot for me to get back to where I was. But no, I'm not going to stop loving the boys like I do and rooting for them. None of that will ever be changed no matter what. But just my internal expectations and everything else, it's going to take a lot for me to get back to where I was before. But thank you very much, Jersey Mike. Really appreciate it. Official DH, Nemo tried to leave before. Now he has evidence. I'm so confused. He tried to leave the team, you're saying? I think that's stemming back to that interview from an overseas publication that I think was kind of blown out of proportion and stuff. I don't know. Maybe Nemo's not as bothered by this as we are, but when I saw the news, I was outraged. A guy who is a budding potential stud defenseman having a breakout season. And again, he's won more games single-handedly than most of the other guys on our roster, who include big name forwards and guys who have been in the league for 8 and 9 years longer than him. This kid's been on an absolute tear. And, I would want to give him every opportunity to get back to where he was before he got injured, build his confidence. And instead we scratch him. I don't like the move at all, especially for a guy that has 1 foot out the door. Now, if the situation with Dougie wasn't what it is, that we're actively trying to trade him and the whole world knows it, different story. I wouldn't mind sitting Nemo for a game to rest and whatever else. And that would be fine. My issue with it is the fact that everyone knows we're shopping Dougie. He's disgruntled. And like I said, he has no real future with this team. And you scratch a kid like Nemo for him. It's wild. And then again, there's the whole other kind of double standard with Luke Hughes and all that. And so I could go about this all day. But hopefully Nemo's not too bothered by it. Hopefully he gets in the next game, responds, and has a hell of a game. Would love nothing more than to see Nemo just come back out there and look like the kid that we were all loving on before his injury. But thank you very much. Evan, thank you for the super. We got to win. Cheers to you, Evan. Cheers to you, Evan. The wins have not been abundant as of late, but we will certainly celebrate when they happen. Oh, baby, we will celebrate. Cheers to you, Evan, and everybody else. What a game. Steph, the Phobia Slayer. Hey, Ace. Thank you for the super, Steph. This game actually pisses me off even more because why did it take the brink of organizational catastrophe for accountability to happen and for them to play the way they did tonight? Great question, Steph. I think it all boils down to what I had talked about before, the Jekyll and Hyde bipolar personalities of this Devils club. On some nights, they look like the best team in the one of the best teams in the league that could beat everybody and potentially go on a real run and do some damage in the playoffs, like the team we saw tonight. And other nights, they look like a lottery pick kind of team that gets abused by the Islanders 9-0 and lets Anthony Duclair get a hat trick. Like, this is what we're seeing. It's and everything in between. You never know what team you're going to get. I do think they are very mentally weak, and I think Keefe has alluded to that. Some of the players have, and it's a real issue. I have no answers as to how you fix that. Maybe it does deal with these kind of sports psychologists and all these things to talk to these guys. I don't know, but it is a troublesome kind of thing that we know the talent is there, the capability is there, but we just do not see the effort often enough, and we get slapped around. Overall, still, in my opinion, a very physically and mentally weak team. But I do think and a lot of people have been calling for scratches and stuff for a while, as I have. And Luke Hughes certainly is not immune from that in my world. It seems like in the world of the Devils he is, which is a whole nother thing, which I think is leading to some of the locker room drama as well. The double standards and different levels of accountability for different guys. But it certainly seems like it lit a fire under Dougie's ass, I don't even know. I'd have to look it up. I don't even know the last time he was healthy scratched. I'd imagined it was years and years ago. And I'm sure he was already bothered by the fact that, they had approached him to waive his no trade clause. He denied it. That became public. He wasn't happy about that. And so we have a guy who's not happy on a bunch of levels with that sort of outside noise. He got healthy scratched. That certainly pissed him off. And he came out there and had a game. Shades, I'm not going to say exactly, but we saw shades of 22-23 Dougie Hamilton. Peak Dougie Hamilton. I believe he had 74 points. I mean, what an insane season. And it's a shame that with the injuries and stuff, he was never that guy again, but he showed shades of it tonight. He certainly is capable, veteran, smart guy, good hockey IQ, has a good read for the game, knows when to pinch a lot. Has a sense of where guys are. Once in a while, we'll get off the slapper. The pec injury, maybe, it's not going to be as effective as it was, but he certainly could snipe. Beautiful snapshot still. And you saw the hands with the assist on the first Bratter goal. It seemed to light a fire under his ass. And maybe he's like, yo, I need to make GMs remember who I am. I'm Dougie Hamilton, and I want to get the hell out of here as soon as possible. I'm not part of this team for the long-term future, so let me go out there and ball out, and hopefully Fitz's phone keeps ringing and we get some better options of places for me to go. But what a response from Dougie, and again, I don't know how you don't play him the next game. I mean, in my opinion, it would be crazy. How are you going to take him out after the game he had tonight? But nothing would surprise me. If they take Dougie out next game, I'd be like, typical Devils, right? I mean, nothing will surprise me at this point, but I would still say we still are on the brink of organizational catastrophe, just to make that clear, Steph. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm thrilled with the win, happy for the 2 points. not much has changed, in my opinion, in terms of the long-term outlook for this team. I still think we need sweeping changes. Going to be thrilled for the win and the 2 points, but nothing changes long-term for me. But big response game for the Devils finally. I mean, this is like the response to the non-response from the non-respondent response to the first response we were supposed to see. And hopefully we see this team come out at home at the Rock against the Kraken on Wednesday, because I need to build off this and put some wins together. But thank you very much for the super, Steph. Hopefully we see this team reappear often and for the rest of the season. Official DH, thank you for the super. It sounds like the GM might be your problem. Okay. Also, we are not winning the next 5. Well, I mean, whoever said we were winning the next 5? I'd love to see that. I do think the GM is a massive part of the problem. I've talked about this time and time again. I do think the group as constructed is, an underachieving group as it stands. I do think there needs to be some changes, but I certainly have not made it any secret that Tom Fitzgerald, I think, is the single biggest problem right now, preventing this team from kind of progressing to where it needs to go. And in terms of winning the next 5, I mean, my God, if we won the next 5, I might pass out. And I still wouldn't be fully, like I said before, that still wouldn't emotionally reel me back in terms of expectations, but winning 5 in a row would be phenomenal. Didn't seem like it was a remote possibility, for the past couple of weeks. I'll be thrilled if they could just win, 2 out of every 3 for the next couple of weeks, and hopefully something happens to give them another kick in the ass. But I mean, if I had to bet on it, obviously I would agree with you. I don't think they're winning the next 5, but what a surprise that would be. A pleasant surprise. Kane the Great, thank you for the super. 220 watching. Oh, wow. 67 likes. Damn, you guys are stingy. Hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Kane. Who do you give the balls of the game award to? 100% Nico. Couldn't agree more, Kane. Balls of the night definitely goes to Nico. Just getting in there, getting gritty, winning one-on-one battles. Stripped Quinn Hughes on that one. Totally abused Faber on the other. Nico Hischier 100% gets the balls of the award tonight. Absolutely. But thank you for the super. And hit the thumbs up, you stingy moes. Hit the thumbs up for your boy Ace and for our beloved New Jersey Devils. And most importantly, for a very rare, much-needed victory drink. High Noon. High Noon, the sponsor of tonight's program. Vodka Seltzer, Black Cherry. When it hits your lips. But thank you very much, Kane. Really appreciate that. Balls of the night, definitely Nico. M-Force, thank you for the super. What still makes no sense is benching Hamilton because of his play, but not Luke. Then you sit Nemo, who's coming off injury. Listen, I talked about this before. There are different rules for different guys, apparently. I don't see how you could paint the picture any other way. I completely agree. Now, to clarify, if it were up to me, I probably would have sat Luke at some point in the last few weeks. Probably right after that Canes game, if I'm being honest. I mean, that was pretty soul crushing, but it doesn't seem like that will ever happen. And in terms of Dougie, I would just not play him anymore personally until he's traded. Again, does he still have it, and can he bring it in some games? You saw him respond tonight. And I do think, despite other people saying he's washed, this, that, and the other thing, I do think a change of scenery will do Dougie very well. I think on a new team in a new city, Dougie, I don't think he'll ever get back to primetime 22-23 Dougie, but I think he could look much better on another team than he has for the majority of this season. He started off kind of decent and then kind of trailed off. Everyone's been killing him. I do think the change of scenery will do him well. It's just a tough thing for me to understand, why you would scratch a young player and kind of kill his confidence when they're going to be here long-term, and Dougie clearly is not. And so, I have no answer for it. I think it's strange. If I had to predict, again, I would say Kovacevic sits the next game and they say he's sore or some shit, but I would not be shocked at all if they pull Dougie out. I mean, we're living in a psycho time right now. There's no logic or sense to anything, and so you never know. But I do think now it is crazy. Now that you have played Dougie while you're trying to trade him, and he had the game he had tonight, to pull him out, I think is another head scratching move. But we'll see. Again, this is what happens when things get public, they get ugly. It's a messy kind of divorce, and we're going to find out. And we are going to find out. David Chimes, thank you for the super. I still think Keefe gets canned tomorrow. Times 2. He writes it twice. That's interesting. I did think there was a good chance if we lost tonight that he would be the scapegoat for Tom Fitzgerald, which I think would be criminal because we've seen the story before. And I do put a ton of blame on Tom Fitzgerald. I put a ton of blame on the players themselves. But that's interesting, David, that you still think Keefe gets canned. I think it is possible. But I would have been a lot more, I would have thought if we lost tonight, and especially if we lost ugly, that'd be more likely. Now I'm kind of, now I'm wondering, has ownership made the decision to stick with both Fitz and Keefe till the end of the season, no matter what? I do think that could be a very real thing because, if heads didn't roll and people didn't get fired after the Islander game, you're going to pick after a win. I don't know. But again, logic does not seem to apply. It's tough to predict these things, and I have no answer. If I had to bet, I would say he doesn't, but nothing would surprise me. But I'm very curious to see what they do with the defense in the next game. I'm very, very excited to see that. Seth, thank you for the super. Why did we play Dougie? I thought he'd play his last. Apparently they wanted to rest Nemo. Nemo had a rough game. I don't think anybody could dispute that. And they wanted to get Dougie back in there. Who knows? Is there an ulterior motive to try to get a big response from him to help us win a game? Is it trying to potentially get a good game like this where you may kind of get a pending deal over the finish line? I don't know. I don't think one game is going to make that much of a difference in trade negotiations. But maybe a lot of guys are, on the other side of the phone are telling Fitz like, oh, Dougie's done. Like, you're trying to trade me your trash. And then he goes out there and shows that he's still got some, that he still has it and can deliver. So who knows? There's so many factors to make it super hard to predict. Once they scratched him, I did say I thought it was his last game as a Devil. I didn't think they would play with fire with throwing him back out there. And to be quite honest, once he was scratched, I thought there was a good chance that he'd be traded fairly quickly after that, like within a day or two. It hasn't been too long, but, come tomorrow, it'll be 48, over 48 hours. Very surprising handling with it overall, if I'm being honest. I can't recall the last time there was a similar situation with the Devils. But now I can't wait to see what they do for next game. What a conundrum. Mark, thank you for the super. Thank you, Ace. Finally, a positive therapy session. Take another sip. When it hits your lips, have a good one. I'm getting up now. Greetings from Switzerland. Thank you very much, Mark. There's nothing in the world like victory drinks. And playoff victory drinks are the best of the best. But regular season, I'll take it. We needed this one desperately. Cheers to you, Mark. Thank you. We needed this one. And your Swiss boys showed out, Mark. Great night from Nico. Great play from Siegenthaler. A little bit of a quiet night for Timo. But the Swiss contingency did your country proud tonight. And the captain with a huge, huge game. But thank you very much, Mark. Really appreciate it. Now I'm diving in the comments here. Hold on, I'm going to tease something. I got to run out of here for one more second. I'm going to get to this. For all you old school people, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. We'll get into this a little bit later. I know a lot of you old timers. Oh, God, I'm still dying over here. I know a lot of you old timers are going to be interested in talking about that later, but that was a little tease for later. All right, so let's, what are we, 11:55? All right, let me, B now, I can accept this endorsement or nomination for Balls of the Night. Balls of the Night to Dougie for playing his best game from the trading block. I could see that. I could certainly see that. I'm still going to have to go at Nico just due to the sheer physical grittiness and shedding contact and initiating contact and just the absolute lunch pail workman-like game that Nico had tonight. But I certainly can respect the Dougie Hamilton nod for sure. He may be my runner-up. Devil Dog. Gomez lived in those high-rise apartments in Clifton across the street from the Upper Montclair Country Club when he was a younger player. I know where that is. I did not know that. It's a nice little stat of the day. Sook says they won't bench either Hughes boy because they have this franchise by its testes. I mean, first of all, benching Jack would be psychotic. And I'm not sitting here like you must bench Luke. I think that's crazy too. But given some of the things that we've seen, I certainly thought it was warranted at different points in the past. But that is a narrative that's kind of growing too. And I don't like it. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but it does seem like in the past couple days, there's this kind of narrative going around that, that there's, I guess it all kind of stems, it goes back to the double standard kind of thing. And sense of entitlement. Like it could be true. We don't know. It's a speculation and I don't like speculating on stuff like that. But in terms of like the Nemo Luke thing, it is interesting. I don't know. I mean, but benching Jack is, come on. Basketball is an awful sport from Devil Heaven. I don't know what that's in reference to. SJ missed the Nets in Jersey. I absolutely hold on one second. Yeah, I wish they never left. Like I've told you guys before, I would go to a good amount of Nets games, saw some big playoff games. And it sucks we lost the pro team, but even more so why the New Jersey Devils, the only professional team in New Jersey, got to recruit some new fans. B. Now's coach said that he was benched him to rest the injury in his play. I mean, fine, but I'm sure he was fine to go and wanted to be in the game. So, you could kind of spin it. You could spin it however you want. But still a baffling decision, in my opinion. 42183 says Palat and Dougie still need to go. I don't think there's any chance of Palat. I do think there's a chance that, obviously they're actively trying to trade Dougie, which makes this even more perplexing. Beachmaster says they've improved every game since the Isles. Well, I mean, what is the bar for improvement when you lose 9-0? Technically losing 8-0 would be an improvement. World's Worst Gamer, I do miss being a young kid where all I wanted was the team to win. I didn't analyze anything. Good times in a different sort of way. Oh, yeah, when you're a kid, it's totally different. You don't know nearly as much and, you don't know the business stuff and everything else. And it's just like, I want to see my team win. As you become older and more aware of all the different kind of things, it takes on a different kind of meaning. Trade Luke and Jack says there's nothing better than 90s hockey and basketball. I completely agree. I've talked with a bunch of my friends about this, and I don't think it's because of bias. We talk about all the time that the 90s was basically peak civilization. All sports, movies, music, pop culture, just everything in the 90s was just peak civilization. And if you weren't alive for it, I'm so sorry. There's so many epic 90s like kind of collage videos out there. I implore you to go find some of them. They're just amazing stuff. Mooseman says, I'm old enough to remember seeing Don Cherry as a player in the AHL in the early 1960s. My God. Don Cherry, what a great hockey personality. I used to watch the Rock'em Sock'em tapes at my buddy's house when we were kids with all the big hits and the fights and stuff. Crazy. The man from Jers 201, I'm still pro tank. I heard this upcoming draft has some studs. Draft high, rework our core, and hopefully be better equipped to contend moving forward. I will never embrace a tank. You guys all know that. Tanking is a disgusting, despicable word, in my opinion. You should try to make the playoffs every single year, no matter what. And I do think the experience that your team gets, especially if you're a young team like us, is invaluable. And I do think missing the playoffs in 23-24 after that record-setting season in 22-23, I think that did a lot of damage to this group, and I'll never be convinced otherwise. World's Worst Gamer says, go Devils, NJD for life. God bless you, bro. More life. NJD for life. It says Gritsuk, Nemitz, Stenberg core. I don't want Stenberg. I want to make the playoffs still. John Doe, we all agree the roster needs to be shaken up, but looking at the contracts, there are a few options. What do you think of trading Jack before his no trade clause kicks in this offseason? I've said a million times, for me personally, there should be no untouchables, and I would entertain a trade on any single player on this roster if it made the team better. Now, like I say every time people bring this up, it's pretty much a waste of your breath, because you have to know that the organization, and by organization, I guess in this instance, I'm talking about the ownership group, they're all in on the Hughes business. They are not going to trade Jack, period. So talking about it is just a complete waste of time. Beachmaster says, is it crazy to think the Wild threw that game to us? Yes, that is crazy. The Wild would never throw a game to us, ever. David Chimes, the Sabres fired their GM after a 3-game win streak that turned into 9. Everyone gives the new GM credit. These decisions happen before they are executed. It could be. I do think coaching firings can be a little more knee-jerk. And I do think, like I said before, if Fitz is allowed to stay and Keefe is fired, I think that's super Bush League. And now, if they do it tomorrow, coming off this win, I would say it's even more Bush League. Like, if you were going to fire him, the time to do it was after the Islander game. Why allow him to stick around and then get rid of him after a win? I think that'd be crazy. Brandon, with Luke, you see what happens when they aren't developed properly. He forgets he's playing against the best in the world. Got to get more humble and respect his opponents more. Completely agree with that. The way he just kind of lollygagged with the puck right in front of Jake Allen against the Canes while Taylor Hall was barreling in on him was just a completely disrespectful to Taylor Hall, in my opinion. And Taylor Hall made him pay for it. He poked it right off his stick into the net. I would like to see a lot more, intention and, like you said, showing respect to some of these guys, because this is not college anymore. You're playing against the best in the world. Bad game for Wallstead for sure. Justin says, hit the like button for Ace. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. David says, Dougie will probably be traded back to Carolina and light it up with Hall whenever they play us. I don't know that. I don't think they'll trade him there. That's an interesting kind of thought. Official DH, again, thank you for the super. Don't forget, this is the same owners of the Sixers, and something is their title. What is their title? I think their title is money, if I'm being honest. What do you think is their title? Jason says, can't sit Covey. The guy already missed half the year. No, I kind of agree with that. And a lot of people have talked smack about the signing. I love Kovacevic. I told you guys last year, I don't recall ever falling in love with a guy as quickly as I fell in love with Kovacevic because of that heavier, edgier, more violent play that he can bring, that he did show last year pretty early on. And it was a breath of fresh air. And I fell in love with him pretty quickly. I wouldn't want to see him come out of the lineup. And again, as crazy as it sounds, I think if it were up to me, despite the game he had tonight, given the future implications of it, I would sit Dougie. But in the same token, it's like, how do you sit a guy that helped you win a big game tonight? It's tough. And Nemo, they already told Nemo he's coming back. So what is the play? SJ says they scratched Nemo for having a bad game, but never scratched Luke. That is messed up. Not going to lie. Devil Evans says, honestly, I think Dilly should sit. Someone's going to have to play their offside then. It could be done. It could be done. I didn't think of that. I don't like making guys play their offside. And I suppose that is a possibility. I feel like it has to be either Dougie or Kovacevic not playing next game. John says, can we change the name Covey to Covey? Covey will always be Kovalchuk to me. I've said this a million times. I'll never call him. Did I call him Covey before? I purposely try not to call him Covey. I may have just from everyone else doing it, but I've said the same thing. Like, Covey is reserved for Kovalchuk. He'll always be Kovacevic to me. But I agree with that. Kane says, think they're going to ride the season out with no fires. I definitely think that that's possible. Dude, your messages aren't making sense, bro. Well, how am I dense? Your message says, don't forget this is theirs, same owner of the Sixers, and Weir is the title. How does that make me dense? I'm trying to understand what you're writing, but the grammar is elementary school, and you're going to get mad at me. Now I have to look for your explanation. It's unbelievable. I can't win out here. Well, what do you want me to do? Everyone can see your messages. The grammar makes no sense. I'm reading your message exactly as you're writing it. I'm not the idiot here, sir or ma'am. I'm kind of baffled. All right, I got to go back up. We'll get back to this. I'm getting flamed by people typing incoherent sentences. After a win, mind you. This is after a win. Where's my victory drink? Now I lost my spot. Now I'm all pissed off. This guy's flaming me. All right. So many comments. Cheers to everybody for coming out. I'm going to try my best here. Oh, my God. All right. Del says, no guarantee Dougie is gone. And I think that would end up being an even bigger circus because then, okay, let's say Dougie's here till the summer. Then what do you do? Then what is your defense? What is your defense? What do you do if you literally cannot move him? What do you do? Do they then trade Nemo for the sake of trading him? Like, again, I was all for trading him in the deal for Quinn Hughes. Different story. But I wouldn't want to trade him just for the sake of trading him because you have too many defensemen. And again, Dougie doesn't have a long-term future here, so it's a little bit of a mess, a crowded blue line. I would normally say it's a good problem to have, but given how this is playing out, it's not a good problem to have anymore because it can't get remedied, or so it seems, by Fitz. NJD for Life says no coach can help this team. Hello, Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Pedro for GM. NJD for Life says Dylan lost years of his life in the Columbus game. I don't even want him to fight anymore. Yeah, it was terrible. Victory drinks and Jays. Devil Dog says Ace thinks Dilly is a dog. Wishful thinking. Dilly is a dog. Calm down. Pipe down. Dilly's a throwback warrior, and we will not entertain any Dilly slander on this channel. Dilly is a throwback warrior. I'm drinking, what is this? Chick drinks? Chic drinks? Listen, I'm a little under the weather, and I'm trying to cut back on hard booze. We need someone like Olivier or Reeves, I wish. Oh, this guy's funny. Pull out your Zimas. I don't got Zimas, bro. And for all you people talking smack, my career is, in terms of hard liquor consumption, is pretty illustrious. And if people want to go shot for shot at some point in public, I'd be happy to embarrass you. Watch people get stretched. JP, I'm predicting the Devils will win the next 6 games and Keefe will get fired based on winning. Oh, boy. Being out, so I can see Nico balls tonight. Also, L2M loyalty, I'm happy we won, but at the same time, now the organization will never change anything. I hope not. I hope not. SJ, Nico always brings it. Effort always there from 13. Most of the time. Most of the time. I'm not going to say always. 8K. What is 8K? Oh, do we hit 8K? Hold on. Hold on. It is indeed 8,000 subscribers. Thank you to all of you. The long road. The long road. My dog for Jam says, with this win, Fitz will give Palat a 2-year extension. I don't think so. I can't believe this guy. You are dense. Steph the Phobia Slayer, thank you for the super. As a Serbian girl, my little internal amusement during the bad nights is watching the announcers butcher Kovacevic's last name. Am I saying it right, Steph? Is Kovacevic? I'm just going off of what they've told, what we've heard before. Is Kovacevic correct? I think that's what he goes by. You might hit me with some crazy pronunciation that even he doesn't know, but I'm curious to see that. But thank you very much, Steph. Washed Up 24. Imagine we have Quinn. Our team would be the turnover kings. See Quinn's turnover today that cost a goal. Listen, it happens. I've talked about this before. Elite players that have the puck on their stick so often in a game are always going to be amongst the league leaders in turnovers. It comes to territory. So obviously that is going to happen sometimes. But on the flip side, you see what Quinn Hughes brings. I mean, you got to take the bad with the good. T-Pal, I like Keefe. Never thought it was the problem, but it's interesting that anyone on the team can get health bombed except Luke and Jack. Again, a guy like Jack is never going to get healthy scratched. I would say there was definitely points in his career thus far that the case certainly could have been made for Luke. But yeah, it's kind of one of those mysteries. My dog for Jam says Luke will never be benched, just like Fitz will never be fired. Just the name this team is giving me emotional constipation. We lost to the worst team in the league, yet smashed Minnesota. Welcome to the again, the bipolar 25-26 New Jersey Devils. You never know what team you're going to get on any given night. Justin, great 60 minutes tonight from the Devils. Absolutely. It's been far too long. Sook says they played Dougie to avoid the rumors that he was benched for business reasons and not poor play. Now his agent has no balls in his court. It doesn't matter. I said before, 2 things could be true at once. Like it was poor play, or maybe not even poor play, but just a depth situation where we like these guys in the lineup. But I certainly think it was kind of twofold, in my opinion. Jay Snow says Fitz was advised not to sign Pally and did anyway. I saw a little bit of that going around online earlier today. The man from Jersey, Kerry Kittles for 3. Wow, those are some good times. Keith Van Horn. Stevens Forever says, what's up, Ace? Remember when you came live sick? I got sick literally the day after. I blame you and the Devils losing. I'm still a little sick. I was way worse before. I'm on the slow road to recovery. Devil Heaven says 80s is the best era in the world. My dog for Jam Luke will never be benched because he's royalty. Pulp Mystic Fitz must go, but all hell should break loose if Keefe takes the fall and Fitz rides out the year. I still do think that's the most likely scenario at some point. David S. Dougie played good because he had to. Dougie played good because he had to prove to the team he's better than Quinn. He knows he blocked the trade and prevented Quinn from coming to the Devils. First of all, let's be real. There was nothing Dougie Hamilton's going to do to prove that he's better than Quinn. That's just ridiculous. But I think it was more of a kind of show the world that he still has something left to give, and maybe prospective GMs that have kicked the tires on his services, that he wanted to, show out and be like, I still could bring something to your team. Ace Trivia, what breed of dog was Blue, Don Cherry's dog? Oh, God, I could picture the dog, but I'm not a dog guy. Is that like with the pointy ears. Oh, God. I could picture the dog perfectly, but I'm not a dog person. It was a shit, man. One of those little barkers, too. Oh, my God. It's going to kill me. I could picture the dog perfectly, but I don't know what breed of dog that is. Shit. I can picture the pointy ears. What the hell kind of dog is that? Damn it. I hate this. When is that some kind of Chihuahua? I don't even know. I suppose it could have been. We made 303 HJ. Wild bench prospects for bad performance, but let Vet Country Club play whatsoever. World's Worst Gamer. I've always been into interacting with the players. It can be loads of fun. Behind the net seats or behind the benches for sure is fun. Tightest stream. We lost 16 of the last 20 plus games. One win doesn't mean shiz. Good start to turn it around. That's where I'm at. Show me more. Give me more. David S. says, Bratt, 2 goals in 21 seconds. Here's where he lights it up and gets 20 goals in 20 games. That'd be amazing. Hey, Ace, do you have a KC Scouts white jersey? I do not. Suk, can tell you one thing for sure. The Wild did not impress either Jack or Luke tonight if they ever wanted to go there eventually. Jay Snow, Toronto fired their assistant coach. They've been playing great hockey. Crowd at the Rock on Wednesday should still chant fire Fitz. I think so. World's Worst Gamer, if the Devils don't make hay in their next 10, which is pretty easy, then will be the time to fire the coach and move players out. If it don't happen, then it will never happen. I might already be there where I don't think it ever happens. Devil Heavens, a shopping list. I need an Adidas Stadium Series jersey. It's a great one. Scouts White and Lowell Devils. I do have a Lowell Devils. David S. Luke is still young and developing. Don't know why everyone is suggesting to trade or bench him. Total disrespectful comments. Trading is ridiculous. A benching or a scratching, if it's necessary, is not disrespectful. That's just people wanting to see accountability across the board. Amagi Kovacevic is my dude. I know you're the president of the Kovacevic fan club. Beat out Kobe and Jack. We're chilling at Yankee games. Steven Trevor Kobe has my same birthday. Such a nice guy. Suk says the play is Dougie is gone by next game. I mean, I feel like that's what you have to do. The man from Jersey, I understand your stance on making the playoffs an experience, but I don't view most of our players as long-term players anymore. So the experience doesn't mean much to me. We need grit and toughness. Completely agree, but they're never getting rid of everyone. And so, whether it's Jack, Nico, Bratt, whoever it is, Luke, Nemo, I'm trying to think of other guys. The experience is necessary, period. You cannot miss the playoffs again. John Doe said, I don't know how Fitz messed this up. How do you have 7 D-men under contract for big money? Did he just think they would never all be healthy at the same time? It is possible, and it's not that crazy. No, Timo's still on left wing. Today he was on the left wing with Jack and Bratt. Jason, no, they already created the Dougie drama. Just sit him. He needs to go. That's where I'm at. David Nemec was scratched because he wasn't fully healed yet. It had nothing to do with the last game. That's nonsense, bro. He was fine. Has nothing to do with injury whatsoever. They wanted to put Dougie back in. World's Worst Gamer says 100% Covey is reserved for Ilya. Amagi, bro, gave you money to call you dense. Yeah, kind of wild. Typing too fast. He's saying, where is the Sixers championship? It's the same place the Commanders and Devils are. He seems drunk. Oh, man. Not leaving sober. How do we all feel about Kovalchuk? I remember when that happened. I was so mad at him for leaving us when we gave him that huge 17-year contract and later found out Russia forced him. It's still all very weird. I don't think we'll ever get the whole story, but he went to Russia. I believe tax-free money there. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. All kinds of crazy stuff. David Chimes, some people out there had too many victory beverages for a one-game winning streak. Don't know what they're... Oh, man. Be now. Hit the like for your boy and for our New Jersey Devils, guys. Victory! Brian, as for Dougie, as much as I want to trade him, if Fitz does what he always does, acts inept, we know we would benefit because someone is bound to get injured, as always with this team. It is a possibility. Hopefully no one gets injured and we can trade him and free up that money and make some other moves, but that's asking for a lot from Fitz. NJD for life, that might be one of the funniest things I've witnessed on your channel. Devil Heaven, honestly, Dougie sitting hopefully sparks his, oh, God. SJ Dougie looked good. He needs to keep producing, though. Don't go cold for months. I mean, if he's still here in months from now, we have bigger problems. Sook says Dougie will be on his merry way to SJ. I don't know. He might just not want to go to the West Coast. Traveling, does it matter what the Devils get for Dougie as long as the $9 million is off the books? No. No, it doesn't. It could be a straight-up salary dump at this point. No. If you get all $9 million off, that's a victory. Hashtag fire Fitz from David. Official DH. No hate. Why do you look like you're in a fight? Because I'm sick, bro. And I'm beaten down. Devil Dog says he hit Paterka in his first game with us in Prague and Kiev. That was a great hit. And then he fought Tuck immediately after. Kate and Megan, that is referring to Kate Madigan and Megan Duggan, neutered him since then. That would be something else. Crazy. My dog for GM, I feel like one way or another Nemo will be gone. He hasn't had a tenth of the support that Luke has from the GM or coach. I hope not. And I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that'll happen. But that, again, I'm not against trading anybody. If it makes the team better, trade anyone you want, but it has to make the team better. I don't anticipate that happening now. I don't anticipate any big moves, if I'm being honest. I've told you guys that. I'm expecting another Sprong-esque type move. David S. says trade Dougie. Jay Snow said, did you drink a lot of Cosmopolitan? Yo, you guys are funny, bro. You guys are hilarious. Yo, one day there's going to be an in-person event, and I want all of you keyboard warriors to bring that same energy. When the shots are lined up at the bar, or whatever establishment this is, probably a bar or restaurant, when all the shots are lined up and all you guys chirping me for drinking high noons, your time will come, and it will be videoed, and it will be part of a vlog when jokers like my man Jay Snow are doing the gag reflex, trying to fight off a puke on the bar top. Sook says, congrats to AK. Thank you, sir. Mooseman never tried to win a two-front war, never challenge Ace to a drinking contest. AK, yeah, thanks, guys. It's been a long road. Hopefully the start of good things to come. Trade Luke and Jack with another ridiculous comment. When is Meyer going to get benched? Long overdue. Come on, man. He's disappeared like most of these guys, but get benched? I mean, is that going to do something? Kovi is Serbian. Suk says Kovacevic. Well, that's pretty close to what I was saying. Steph says no. This looks like Kova check. This I don't even know. Oh wait, we got an update. Kovacevic. You said it's Kovacevic. Kovacevic. We got another Kovacevic. Yeah, they're not benching Timo. It's insane. Dylan says we shut Quinn down after the first 10 minutes. Trevor says maybe Fitz is hoping Dougie gets hurt so he's off the hook for a trade he can't make happen. I mean, that'd be crazy. Not leaving sober, I missed the Foley and wish we still had him. I mean, if the choice is Toffoli or no other top six forward, I would take Toffoli for sure. Steph says, normally in Serbia, that last name is pronounced Kov. Is that Kovacevic? Kovacevic? What's going on, Vecna? Verge. So both of the season Kovacevic are pronounced Kovacevic. Not leaving sober Ace. We need your verdict. Do the Devils make the playoffs? Yes or no? I'd like to say yes, man, but it's hard. I hope so. Fitz is a moron, a bald moron. B now, Dougie's not a 30-plus minute D-man. He's an offensive power play guy used a little more purposeful. Jason said they said Fitz will be evaluated at the end of the year. I mean, I've seen more than enough, regardless of how the season ends. Michael Gold, we suck right now, but a win is a win. Still a lot of hockey left. Agree with that. Anson says, does Nemo sit against Seattle? I don't think so. That'd be a shame because Keith was on record today saying that he told Nemo he's getting right back in there after this game. So to go back on that would be insane. Trevor, this game was the opposite of the Isles game where everything found a way in. Tonight, the Wild couldn't buy a goal. They missed a ton of wide open nets, right? We could have been down easily 3-1 midway through the game. I think Boldy missed 2. Boldy missed 2 big ones. Who else? Tarasenko, I think, missed a really bad one. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. They definitely had some luck tonight, but then they also earned it. Fire Thruster, hey, Ace, it's my birthday. Can I get a happy birthday? Absolutely. Happy birthday, Fire Thruster. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? SJ says, can't scratch Dougie after this game. Poor Nemo. Well, you also cannot go back on your word to the young kid when you told him and told the whole world that you told him this, that he's going to go right back in there. You can't walk that back. So then if you can't scratch Dougie, Nemo cannot be scratched. And so that leaves me with my original prediction of some sort of story that Kovacevic is a little sore or something. And he's out for the next game. Doberman. Okay. Slavosaurus Ace, you sound like you're getting better. Yeah, right. The game on Saturday will show if this team can turn it around this year. Beating Carolina could go a long way. I'm just trying to win the next game and keep it going. Imagine if Chihuahuas are the size of German Shepherds. No. Trevor, this team probably won't can Keefe as they're on the hook for his large salary. Don't forget our owners are cheap bastards. That also probably comes into play. A very real point there. That is a very good point. Do they want to pay 2 coaches at once? I don't think so. My dog for GM owner said Fitz will be evaluated at year end, but that's all just a stall tactic. They ain't doing shit. Fitz is here as long as he wants to be. I think so. Vecna, just to think that we're only 4 points out of a playoff spot, and it feels like we lost every game for the last month. The East is terrible. It really is. The fact that they're still hanging around, like, my God, we've played so bad for so long. Jason said, Ace, you got to cover that violent gentleman on that sweatshirt. It's more like soft little boys. Boy, Rocky, just saying, dude, you don't know. Nemo could have been scratched because he's not been feeling good after his first game back. I promise you that's not what happened. NJD for life, who wants that Luke Hughes contract right now? Hopefully he grows into it. That was always the case, man. That was always the case. Future value and hope it pans out. I hope we're making the playoffs, but, I mean, the East is so bad. Hold on one second. I got to step away here. I'm dying. All right. I hope we are. As everyone's pointing out, the East is pretty damn bad. They're still going to have to consistently win games, but they may be allowed to linger on for longer than maybe usual because of how tight the East is and how no one is really separating themselves. It's Dr. Mobius. Thank you for the super. Hope you're well, Ace. Ottawa native, nice, and lifelong Devils fan here. I'm wondering, Brady and Zub for Jack and Luke, they all seem to need a change. Again, every time someone brings this up, I'm going to preface it with, I cannot see any circumstance in which the New Jersey Devils even remotely think about trading either Hughes brother. I just cannot see it. Now, with that being said, if Brady Tkachuk were made available, the New Jersey Devils certainly have a ton of other pieces and assets to try to do that. I did let the dream die a while ago. I did think a couple years ago when we had the number 10 overall pick that, and some other pieces as well, that it would have been a nice play for Fitz to try to call Ottawa and shop that pick and whatever else to get Brady. It did not happen. There was rumors at the time that he wanted out. They, Ottawa debunked them and said it wasn't true and all that. But if there's ever a world where Brady Tkachuk is available, Tom Fitzgerald should 100% be in on him and make sure he does not come in second and brings Brady Tkachuk to New Jersey. There's a ton of ways to go about it. I'm not going to get into all that right now. As you may be aware, I know a lot of the folks here, maybe you aren't, Dr. Mobius, but a lot of people here know Brady Tkachuk is my favorite non-Devils player in this league, and I do believe he is the exact type of player that this franchise desperately needs to change the identity of this team and to help return respectability to the New Jersey Devils. So, again, I don't think the team even considers trading Jack or Luke. But if Brady was available, we have plenty of other ways to get it done, and nothing would make me happier. Nothing would make me happier than that. Crazy Coasty, can Nemec be part of a deal, and that's why he was held out? It's always a possibility, but I don't think so. I really think this was just a matter of kind of twofold, wanting to get Dougie back in there, and Nemo had a rough game, and they're going to use the, just came back from injury thing as kind of a justification. So I think the table was set for them to say, sit this one out. We want to get Dougie back in there, rest up, blah, blah, blah. Because I fully expect Nemo to be out there Wednesday, given that Keefe told us that he told Nemo that. Unhinged, a much-needed win. What a glorious moment in sports. I actually put on Cotton Eye Joe and danced around the room. Oh, boy, what a classic. Edmund, this team needs a franchise goalie. The old man combo isn't going to get it done no matter what this team does. This guy's still chirping me. It's unbelievable. Living up to the name. I really wanted Hellebuck when those rumors came up a couple years ago. I'm a Lou Lamoriello disciple. Always believed in building a team from the net out. I thought Hellebuck would have been a monster acquisition. I wanted it desperately. There were some rumors. It didn't pan out and blah, blah, blah. But I fully agree. I think the team is hoping that Big Mike Yegorov at Boston University is going to be the next, or possibly Jakub Malik. One of those two will emerge as the next franchise goalie. And it's possible, but I firmly agree. You need a franchise goalie. We haven't had one since Marty. So this guy says, I'm older than you and look younger. Oof. Oh, you got me. What a good zing, bro. What a zing. Amagi says, I like high noons and Surfsides, but I'm too broke for them. Yeah, they are freaking expensive. They really are expensive. World's Worst Gamer, grats on AK. Thank you, sir. Jay Snow, Ace, I don't drink Girl Scout cookie drinks. Oh, man, this guy's asking for it. Jay Snow is totally asking for it, and he's going to be my first victim. He's going to be the first channel victim of the Running with the Devils shot challenge. Remember tonight, folks. Remember, Hughes Bowl 3 was the night that Jay Snow's mouth wrote checks that he could not cash. That he wrote checks that he could not cash. Jay Snow, I'm coming for you, my man. I am coming for you, and you will regret tonight. I will never let this down. I will never let this down. Oh, it will be real liquor. Don't you worry. I'm going to really turn up the heat on you, boy. We would come at 151. We're going to find out what you're made out of real quick. 151. Night, Jay Snow. Sean says, how about the grip from the captain for tonight? Still crossing my toes and fingers for Brady. You must have been joining late. The captain got the Balls of the Night award. getting down and dirty, making some of those goals happen. Beautiful plays from Nico tonight. And I'll always hold out a sliver of hope for Brady. Now that they're kind of a disaster again, I'm kind of getting reeled back in. And then those rumors, whether they're true or not, I'm kind of reeled back in. I'm not going to lie. I've started thinking about some sort of world where we could get Brady. I don't think it's going to happen, but man, it'd be nice. Waltz, I think Markey should start Wednesday. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. It's another one where it's sometimes hard to predict the goalie rotation. I remember Zimas. I never really drank them, but I remember their existence. Talking back in the day, early 2000s, Twisted Teas. Oof. I like the Twisted Teas as well. Mooseman says Blue is a white English bull terrier. Is that like some kind of hybrid dog? Vicariously, God bless you for all your hard work, sir. You're always up so late, game after game with these. It seems like you've been sick for a month now. I hope you feel 100%. Thank you. I think I've been sick for like 2 weeks. It feels like a month. Yeah, what a brutal winter. I know a lot of people have texted me and been like, I'm sick. The man from Jers 201, kind of random, but my son turns 11 months in a few days, and I can't wait to take him to his first game and raise him a Devils fan. Well, hopefully by the time he's old enough to remember, I'm assuming what do kids remember? Maybe like 4 or 5. Hopefully by then this is a competitive team that can consistently play well. I don't think it was a Doberman. Dobermans are black. It was a bull terrier. Bull terrier is the right answer. English bull terrier. Yeah, like I wouldn't, I'm not a dog person, like I said. Hit the like. Hit the like. Thank you. Trade Luke and Jack Poodle is the most vicious dog breed. Edmund, everyone needs to drink some Jack. Watch the 2003 Cup DVD and chill. A lot of hockey left. What a great DVD that is. Do they still make Mike's Hard Lemonade? I don't think I've seen one of those in years. Edmund says this team changes overnight with Brady. Give me Brady. Man, I'd love it. Jay Snow said I'm a bigger Matthew Tkachuk guy over Brady. Yeah, different players, but Matthew Tkachuk is great as well. Obviously, I would say the overall better player, but this team desperately, desperately needs guys like Brady. As I said, Brady's the captain. Last player they would trade unless he wants out. Eventually, he's going to want to. David Ace, why does Jack rarely speak to the media? Because he clearly hates it. If you've ever seen any of his interviews, he really doesn't like it. Stick Figs, Brady is as heavier, edgier, more violent as you can get. And most importantly, he's hungry to win, unlike a lot of the losers on the Devils right now. Yeah, I mean, if you guys watched the Four Nations, he was buzzing. Devil Dog says the Tkachuk brothers have a lot of baggage. In what way? Yeah, what baggage? Someone said that about them yesterday or last game. People can say whatever they want. That's, what does that even mean? Trevor says, because unfortunately Jack has an ego problem, he's too good to talk to the media. I can see why people would think that. I don't know if that's the case. We've talked about this before. There is a vibe that he gives off that I don't particularly like. Dr. Moby says, I missed the Schneid. I'm assuming you're talking about Corey Schneider. His talents were wasted on some bad Devils teams too. Justice, congrats on 8K Ace. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Stickfix says official DH where the internet trolls the Senators are talking about. World's Worst Gamer style will drink you all under the overpass. I mean table. B now, no one calls Ace chicken. Snow's not ready for it, guys. But it's gonna be videoed. Snow's gonna make himself. It's gonna make himself Devils fan famous. David says if you add Luke and Quinn's number, you get Jack's. Yeah, 43 plus 43, 86. Sook says Jay Snow gonna be slumped over the bar, wishing he was dead instead. We've all been there. Yeah, 151. Bring your work boots, my friend. You want to play these games? Oh, we're gonna play these games. 151 is crazy. Travel says hopefully tonight was Dougie's swan song. It could be or it could not be. Expect the unexpected. The 25-26 New Jersey Devils. Never know what you're going to get. David says, I wonder how awkward the tension was in the locker room between the team and Dougie in the locker room now that all the drama has been aired out on social media. Certainly makes it weird. I think it's a little weird. Who knows? But, winning cures all, like I've always said. Winning cures all. Go out there and consistently win hockey games, and all of this background noise and chatter BS just disappears. Go and win hockey games consistently. Shotgun some Cutwaters. Man, I haven't shotgunned anything in a minute. Put a shot of raspberry vodka and twisted teas. I'm not a big flavored vodka guy, but definitely wouldn't be raspberry. Raspberry vodka is mankind's worst invention. Jay Snow, last time I had 151 was through a beer funnel. Oh, my God. I used to funnel original recipe for Loco in my younger days. Wild stuff. David, Ace, did any team claim Chalowski off waivers? Come on, man. Nobody claimed him. He cleared. Trevor says, my party days, it was Irish car bombs or mind erasers. World's Worst Gamer, Mike's Hard Lemonade is still going strong. One of my favorites. Okay. I was not aware. I highly suggest trying a Surfside Lemonade. I remember when the Jersey Shore used to hand out beer bongs as prizes. Do they still do that? Probably not as much, but I vividly remember that as well. Dogzilla, late to the party, was at my son's junior Ducks practice in SoCal. My two takes, what if Dougie gets injured and becomes untradeable? And imagine Dougie on a power play one with Celebrini. Everyone's like, oh, what if he gets injured? Like, that'd be horrible luck for the Devils. And I don't know that Dougie wants to go to the West Coast. Like, the report came out that he denied the trade to the Sharks, and maybe that was before, they've shown what they can do, maybe, or at least the timeline they're on. I don't know, but it could be strictly a geographic thing. Maybe it gets revisited, maybe it doesn't, but Dougie certainly would, I'd imagine, would love to play on a power play with Celebrini. Rupper was a dog in that game 7. Yes, he was. B now, Jack too cool for the room when it comes to media, and it's kind of annoying. I could totally see it. B now says Jack is a kid, so whatever. He's young and brash. NJD for life. The media is annoying. It's understandable why it doesn't talk to those sheep. I can see both sides of it for sure. But, just be a professional and just talk to them. It's kind of part of the gig. David, why are so many people thinking we have a shot at Brady? If he gets traded, he'll go to Florida to play with his brother. He has no interest in playing for the Devils. I do think the most likely place if he leaves Ottawa is that he goes to Florida, but you never know. You never know. I do think Brady on a line with Jack could be electric. Trevor says when Jack does talk to the media, he's very short and seems extremely uninterested. So we were never told what the baggage was. Yeah, I think that's just kind of a conjured up thing. Stickfix says by baggage, they mean the Kachucks are seen as meanies, so they may not bring the organization as many fangirl dollars as another pretty boy skill player. Man, SJ says Jack is uncomfortable with interviews. It's so obvious. I don't think it's that he's uncomfortable. I just don't think he likes it. I mean, he's been talking to the media for years. Steve's good to see a win for a change and nice 2 assists from Dougie after the whole trade rumor. Absolutely. What a response. What a response from Dougie. Be now whiskey neat. Edmund, if the Devils deal Hamilton and clear all or most of his cap, what forwards are you looking at? High noons are delicious no matter how sick they are. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. But I'm still torn. I mean, it depends on when you're going to make the move, right? Like, I could see a world where this team makes a push at some point and it gets either back in a wild card spot or pushes towards one, close to one. And then it's what do you do there? It's tough. But I still think they need a big shakeup deal. and to bring in some nasty guys that could play. The baggage was politics. Oh, God. Devils Hawk, did they ever do a Devils Beach Bash last summer? I don't think so. I don't think they did at all. Devils Hawk, I missed the vending machine marketing they did in Hoboken. I remember that from a few years ago, right? They had like shirts and stuff in there. I vaguely remember that. That was fun. Stickfigs chugging Four Loco. I don't know about more violent, but Ace is certainly heavy and edgy. No, yeah, the Four Loco funnels were brutal times in my much younger years. Stickfigs, cheap rum for me, baby. Jaeger straight from the bottle if it's a special day. I did go through a crazy Jaeger bomb phase, Trevor, and Stickfigs in college. Wild, wild nights of Jaeger bombs. Oh, my God. Brady's wife is from New Jersey. Yeah, with Brady's wife being from New Jersey and Fitz being his cousin, you would think, and again, we're dealing with Fitz here, but you would think that would get you the inside track to potentially land him if he was available. Being out Dougie, SJ turned down was in the summer, not recently we know of. Yeah, which before the season, a lot of people probably thought they weren't a playoff team. And look at them now. You know, will they continue? Who knows? But they're definitely going to be in the mix for a while. And exactly, Suk. We also thought the most likely place for Quinn was to go to New Jersey. You never know. You never know. Trade Luke and Jack pork rolls, the most New Jersey thing ever. David, I would love to see Dougie on the Sharks. I would love to see Dougie anywhere that takes his full $9 million. David, Ace, if Fitz trades Dougie, and the best he can do is we have to retain a third of his contract. I mean, there's nothing you could do. If that's the best deal, then so be it. That still frees up $6 million in cap space. You know, hopefully someone could take all of it. But if the best deal you're going to do is $6 million, then that's $6 million more than we had. JP, I drank a bottle of 151 in Uzo. Ended up in the ER a day later. Bad news bears. Oof. That is brutal. Yeah, I just mentioned that. The Kachucks and Fitz are cousins. Jason, no, imagine having to talk to Amanda Stein with that laugh. Oh, you guys are mean. You'd run out of there too. She asked some very layup questions, though. But a smooth. Would anyone want to see Brodeur's son on the team if nothing other than fan service or pride? I don't know. I haven't seen him play. Is he good? No, he's decent, but he's an AHL, ECHL kind of guy. He did play a very nice, beautiful outing for him against the Rangers in the preseason last season and got the win, which was awesome. But he's not going to be an NHL player. Justin says Devils need to go back to the Meadowlands. I would love to see it. It's never going to happen, but I would love to see it. I would love to see it. B Now says Jack has to put up, all athletes got to put up with the same dumb questions. I get it. It's just part of the gig. Be cool about it. Be funny. Be smarter. Marduk, the 12th, says Devils in Utah. Hamilton for Nick Smoltz. Utah's having issues resigning him. Devils can use a top 6 forward. They're not going to give us him for that. Someone will pay more. Sukes' owners got a lot of money to put the team in the heart of Newark. They ain't leaving. Rocky says, who really cares if Jack talks to the media? Making the goals happen is all you want to hear about. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, all this distraction off ice stuff, like, you know, do I wish certain things were different and stuff? Cool, yeah. But in the end, like, you know, from, players' kind of expectations, like, just go out there, produce, and win hockey games. Nothing else matters. The man from Jersey, good night, sir. Vecna says, let's talk it into reality. Brady coming to New Jersey. I wish. David says, Ace, are you going to the game on Wednesday? Absolutely not, David. I will not be going to a game until there's meaningful changes made. I've explained this. You know, I cannot, in my right mind, continue to give the organization money with things going the way they are and their message being what it is. And that was on top of them calling me a food thief, which I'll never let go. So, you know, I can't give them money. Will root for them from my couch. Jay Snow says, Glendenning also scored a goal in the preseason. Don't take anything you see there for real. It's true. Preseason is a totally different animal. Now, do I wish Jack was funnier and cooler in interviews? Yes. Does it really matter to me? Really? Oh, hell no. I agree. Suk says, boycott or wear paper bags over your heads. David chimes, Dougie will still fetch a second-round pick or equivalent for full contract. That's my prediction. You heard it here first. Oh, man, David, I used to think along those lines. And you're talking about with no retention? Oh, my God. If Fitz got a second rounder for Dougie with no retention, that would be one of the greatest surprises in a long time. Buttersmooth says, Ace, host a watch party at a local bar and do the live stream as a podcast from the bar after. I've thought about it. But like, do people really want that? Like, I don't know. People talk about it, but I did a while back ask people about an in-person event, and like some people emailed, but I don't remember what a good amount of people, but whatever it was, I did not think that it was enough people to warrant exploring it further at the time, if that makes sense. And I would never want to do a shitty event. Obviously, I'm not in the business of doing crappy stuff. So yeah, I kind of put it on the back burner, but now I need to make Jay Snow throw up in a vlog. So David said, what if one of your buddies gave you free tickets? I still don't think I could do it. I don't know. That used to be my policy that I wouldn't buy the tickets, but now I might be at the point where like, I don't want to go, period. I'm wondering where we stand in the draft. Well, you go look it up. Suk says free tickets. I'm reselling those to whatever poor soul will take them. I would never resell tickets someone gave me. Stickfix question: if an out-of-state fan was visiting the state, would you fault them for going to see one game? No, I would put that under extenuating circumstances. That's very different. You know, I totally would understand. And listen, I'm certainly not going to chirp people or give them a hard time if they continue to go to games. Again, I'm not one of those people. I just said, for me personally, I have to vote with my wallet, but everyone is entitled to do as they please, you know, and it kills me because there's nothing I love more than going to see Devils games live. It is one of my true most joyous times in life, and it's been part of my life for over 30 years. But given everything going on right now, it's a little different. Stickwick says, yes, official running with the Devils meetup then or when, if not a tailgate, just a meetup at a bar after the game. You can't tailgate anymore. M. Sharp says, this game makes you wonder why it took so long to sit Dougie. Well, who knows if he would have responded the way he did if it was earlier, but it's just a mess. People are going to use this kind of as a thing, like, oh, look how he did after you scratched him. Like, I get it. But a smooth, you could get the other Devils YouTubers to show up and discuss after the game. Probably not. I will say, for whatever reason, a lot of people don't like me, and that's fine. I don't need to be liked by everyone. And quite frankly, I really don't give a shit, if I'm being honest. But I've gotten like some just weird, I'll call it weird vibes from a lot of people, including Devils YouTubers or whatever you want to call it. And so I certainly will not be going out of my way to do anything involving any of those people for said reasons. And I could be imagining it, but I don't think I am at all. So something like that is not very likely. We were 10th yesterday. Who's McCarb? SJ has to be the Sharks. What other team has the cap and wants Dougie? Yes, so the Leafs kind of want him, but do they have cap? But here's the thing. Other teams, if they don't, may have other ways to make it. Like there could be a domino or kind of like a chain of events for teams to make the cap space if they really want Dougie. Vecna says, if Fitz brings in Brady, is he cool again? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Suk, it'll probably be San Jose. Macklin will revive Dougie's career. They'll eventually win a cup. Wouldn't that be a story? Jay Sosa's problem is Rasmus Anderson's out there and has he's got way more value than Dougie. David Chimes, Dougie plays good defense and 40-plus points in Keefe's crap system. There's a chance he goes star again in a better environment. Downside, his contract is only $2 million too much. No retention plus a second. That would be great. That would be great. Stick thinks I know we're not supposed to tailgate, but what happened to the unofficial Run with the Devils tailgate being planned? I know. I think people at this point, I think people would snitch us out. I'm still thinking about ways. Put it this way. Mark this down. I will tell you this. If this team somehow makes the playoffs, I will guarantee there will be a tailgate of some kind somewhere. That I could promise. And so, yeah, if they pull it off and get into the playoffs, there will be a tailgate somewhere. And it will be epic. It will be epic. YouTube OG says that Devils beat Carolina on the 17th. We make playoffs. Heard it here first. That's an interesting kind of thing to cling to. Hey, listen, I'd love to beat Carolina and also go to the playoffs. I think it's interesting that you're putting that much stock into that one game, but I respect it. B now says, Ace, you, the Brady of hockey podcasters, not everyone going to like you. F them. You know, I'm nice to people. Like I said, I don't really care. It is what it is. Rocky says, Ace, say they go on a 5-game heater. Do you start going again? No. Unless Fitz is fired or they make a big trade, no. Vecna says, Ace the food thief versus Snow the lightweight. Ace is minus 200. Brian, read somewhere that Gaudreau falling out of favor in the lineup spot in San Jose. I'd give Hamilton for him straight up in a heartbeat. Get the money off our books. Get a gritty forward. What is his cap hit? His cap hit's 3.6. Is there a better usage of that money? That's what I say about everything. Is there a better usage of that bread? At this point, I think we need guys. We need guys that they need to be gritty, but they need to be able to produce too. Like, yeah, Gaudreau, like, oh my God, he's got 8 points. He had 8 points last season in 77 games, and he's got 8 points this season in 45 games. I understand the thinking there, but like, we have plenty of guys that can't produce, and so I'm out. I'm out. We need more production. Suk says JP said stupid stats due to his Chico attached to his hip. They spew spats that don't matter and treat it as gospel. It's kind of accurate. Snow says we got to eat chicken fingers in between shots. Oh, you want a chicken finger chaser? We'll allow it. I like it. Chicken finger chaser. I'm in for that. YouTube OG, I still have my playoff towels from the 2000s ready to be dusted off. I have so many playoff towels. There's been some really cool ones over the years, I will say. And some of them, when I look back at them, are reminders of painful seasons. But looking and holding the ones from cup winning years, that hits different. Certainly hits different. M. Sharp, I did notice Dougie stepping up and just going for it this game. Could have just went for it and not play in the current stay back defensive system. Just a thought. Maybe they played a little bit looser and took some more chances. Maybe they were told, take the governor off a little bit. That is a possibility. I'd love to know if there was any sort of talk about anything like that, but maybe there's something there. Maybe they were playing a little bit more carefree than they normally would. David Chimes, I once got called out and massively insulted on a YouTube live stream for claiming Miles Wood was massively overrated. If those guys cold shouldering you, F them. Well, feel free to air out your dirty laundry. Who was it? I don't care. I'm curious. Where did that happen, David? Edmund, if things change and the Devils are looking to add before the deadline at the cap space, you taking Ryan O'Reilly or Blake Coleman? Ooh. Hold on. I got to see cap hits. I think they're similar. I think they're similar. Both 34. Listen, and I might get killed for this. I love pickles. But I have to go with O'Reilly. Just positionally speaking, like we really need center depth. Love Pickles, but he's a winger. I'm gonna have to go with O'Reilly here. But love Coleman. And I think he'd be a great addition too. Brian said, with everything we've endured, you're telling me you wouldn't take 5.4 million cap relief and a physical player to get Dougie out of here. If there's no better option on the table, then I would take it gladly. Would gladly take it, but if David is correct, and I think he might be delusionally optimistic, but I would love for him to be correct. David Chimes believes we could get a second rounder with no retention. I would much prefer that deal than this one. Now, Brian, if there's nothing else out there and that's the best we could do, I certainly would not be against it, but I would try to get more cap relief if possible. Ash just says, I think the Devils make the playoffs only because the East is weak. That would be crazy. I would love to see it. Would make me a happy man. Be nice to smash that like button. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. I think it kind of is, Art. I mean, no one's peeling away with it. A lot of teams just kind of mediocre. Brian, you just said you would love if we got a second round pick. Yeah, the cap relief is the biggest thing. Here, I know the cap relief isn't a full $9 million, but it's better than a pick. Yeah, but again, I would rather have $9 million freed up to hopefully, and again, this is a lot of hopes layered on top of other hopes as long as Fitz is here. But theoretically, I'd much rather have $9 million in cap space to go out and see what else you could do than to have 5.4 and Barkley Goodrow, if that makes sense. Jason said, no way, that's gross. I can't be smashing chicken fingers and throwing back shots. Now I got the cool little banners from the Batter Nights. Those are amazing too. Man, there were some great giveaways back in the day. David Chimes says, Barkley Goodrow stinks. Please no, I watch almost every Shark game. But it's smooth. I like that heavy dude's energy as far as Devils. YouTubers. But I can't sit through the whole videos. Devil's Digest, I click from time to time, but they repeat titles, major update, get old. Who's the heavy dude? David said, Ace, I listened to Quinn's post-game interview, and they asked him about playing against his brothers, and he said it's fun, but I'm also looking to get the day over with too. Guess he won't sign an NJ. Oh, man. I said from the day I saw Quinn's, the first press conference he did as a member of the Wild, I was like, we're never getting Quinn Hughes. It's a wrap. And Billy Guerin will keep him there. Jason says, if it's true that Keefe is playing Fitzgerald's system, that's a joke. People, this is kind of a thing I've seen over the past couple days too. I just don't like to regurgitate. Like, I don't know. That one to me is like kind of like, it's a speculation rumor. I mean, I guess I've said before, with the way the season's gone and stories we've heard over the years, I wouldn't call anything necessarily crazy. I think it's fair to question everything. I do think it's a little wild, but I don't know. That seems a little far-fetched. That Keefe is gonna play a system that Fitz gave him. Like, again, nothing would surprise me, but I don't know. That seems a little much for me to accept as gospel. But there could be some validity to it. We'll probably never know. Sean, thank you for the super. You and Uncle Pucker's doing something would be a party I would fly in for. So circling back to what I said a couple minutes ago, I forgot about the Puckers guys. Like them a lot. They would be somebody that would be exempt from what I said, and probably the only people that I would say that did not apply to. For sure. I talk to Tim quite often. A Pucker's party, huh? I don't know. I know Chris lives in Jersey. At least some of them would be probably available for something like that. Stay tuned. I might tag them in for the playoff tailgate. Got to make the playoffs first, though. Got to make the playoffs first. And here's the other thing. There'd be a limit. I don't know. Well, maybe that could be. Well, that's logistics. I'll figure out later. But I will say there will be people that want to attend the tailgate that will not be able to attend. It's not just going to be like anybody can show up. I promise you that. There will be some level of exclusivity to it. The Woo report, really? That's a little unfortunate to hear, but it happens. I was probably being an ass too. Suk said O'Reilly's on my fantasy team. Guy consistently puts up 4 to 5 points. He's doing something right in Nashville. Some of you guys are pretty mean in the comments. Brian, I don't have faith Fitz would even use the cap relief we get, whatever that is. And that, honestly, Brian, is my biggest fear. I did say the other day, I could totally see a world where we free up Dougie's money and we don't do shit with it. That would be completely abysmal. I would be so furious. But again, nothing will surprise me, right? We had LTIR money 2 years in a row and didn't use it. So Vecna Fitzgerald says, give me Coleman and Lomberg. That dude is a horse on skates. Love Lomberg. Jason, no, something's wrong with that guy. I got to read these things better before I just click. David, he then gave a long speech about how impressive his YouTube channel was, overcoming all obstacles working. SJ, I take O'Reilly over Coleman because Ryan is a true center. Need those faceoff wins badly. Yeah, exactly. It just comes down to position for me. I love Pickles too. Suk, the heavy dude. I started watching Devil's Den or something. Yells at the camera. Dude, he's hilarious. He might be somebody I do something with. I just saw him the other day for the first time. I actually posted on one of his videos. I was cracking up, man. It was just like a hilarious rant video. I think it was after it was either after the Penguins game. I don't remember. I don't watch too many other Devils things. I'll pop in random lives here and there just to see what people are saying, because I do like to hear what other Devils fans or Devils whoever are talking about. And I obviously listen to the more known national shows. They talk about the Devils too. But the Devil's Den guy is absolutely hilarious. Shout out to him. I don't even know his name. I tried to get him to email me. Yo, Devil's Den guy, if you see this, hit me up, bro. Wait, did he post a video? Did he post a video tonight? Yo, he did. Yo, he did. Yo, wait, I'm going to comment on his thing again. Yo, oh my God. I am excited to watch this. This was a win. They're probably not as good. I mean, I hate to be that person. They're probably not as good as the losses, because the loss videos were hilarious. I forget which one it was. No, it was the Jets. It was the Jets loss. The Jets loss video that he put up, I was dying. I think he lives in Canada. Yeah. Funny dude. Funny dude. B now says, Quinn gonna follow the money like most pro athletes. It'll be his last chance for a huge money grab, potentially. If he signs the max term, yeah. But he'll still have one more decently fat deal after that too. But this will be the last big one. Yeah, Devil's Den hockey. But I think so. It looks like it might be phone camera quality. He's yelling and got decent energy. Yeah, he gets fired up. He was pissed there's the 9-0 beatdown. Good night, Justin. Brian J, call me crazy, but I'd rather keep Dougie. Only if we don't use the money on a substantial ad. Injuries to D-men happen. Well, if it was the difference between keeping Dougie and getting rid of Dougie and not using the money, I'm 1,000% with you. The only reason I wanted him to go at this point is because I'm envisioning doing something productive with the $9 million up front. But again, as long as Fitz is here, that could be an absolute pipe dream, and they just may save that money. Just put it back in the company profits, baby. But in a world where we operated like a normal organization and then went out and used that money up front, I would rather do that. Brian says Mercer and Hamilton for Toffoli. Toffoli's going nowhere. He's loving life out there. Absolutely loving his life. Just as Leafs beat the Avalanche in overtime. David, I'm not always right, but I do follow the trade market. I'm serious about Dougie's trade value. Not nearly as bad as you think. GMs do pay for spec value. Until Quinn drama, Dougie was playing like a $7 million. No, I agree with that. But the other problem is the whole world knows that Fitz is not in a position of strength. He's in a position of weakness. And everyone knowing that he needs to get rid of Dougie to free up cap space and the roster spot. And the fact that Dougie has trade protection. If you're one of the teams on his list or one of the other teams outside of his list that he would agree to go to, you know there's not that many other suitors. And so, cutthroat GMs are going to be like, listen, bro, I know you need to get rid of this guy, and I know there's not many places you could send him. This deal needs to be enticing for me. Edmund says 100% O'Reilly has 38 points in 45 games this year. He's still good. I feel like he would be what Palat didn't do for us. Whoa. You bite your tongue about Ondrej Palat. That man had 2 goals tonight. I haven't heard that in a while. LTIR. No, not Frank the Tank. David says Dougie would improve the Sharks' crappy blue line, fit right in. High tax state and fentanyl and parking lots might be an absolute no for him. I feel bad for Frank. Guy's going to have a stroke. Man. He gets pretty fired up. Cats and Rats podcast. Dougie Market is what exactly is that? I don't know what that emoji is. What is that emoji? I'm old. I don't know what the hell that is. He's the Devils version of that Leafs guy. I like Frank the Tank and glad to see him in the gym. Yeah, he's lost a ton of weight. He's been walking around for a while. He did a really cool thing with Schwarzenegger. You should check that out. That was really cool. Really cool thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Cats and Rats. Frank the Tank vids on Devils have been epic over the last couple weeks in the streets. Don't touch me. Don't hit me. Yeah, Frank makes some crazy videos. All right, folks. I'm going to take a leak. When I come back, though, we're going to talk about, not this, wrong graphic. We're going to briefly talk about this. Beautiful graphic. I forget what period they showed it on MSG. Back in 2 minutes, going to the bathroom. As always, appreciate everybody for coming out. Love all of you. We still got a little bit yet. You don't have to run away. I'm going to be back in a minute or two, and I'll still be on here for a while, but I do like the suggestions. Throw those out. If nothing else tonight, everyone should remember this historic Hughes Bowl as the night that Jay Snow flapped his trap entirely too much. And at some point will give us golden video footage of him projectile vomiting after trying to hang with your boy with 151 shots. I really look forward to it now. Honestly, it's going to be one of my favorite moments of the channel. And poor Jay Snow. Poor Jay Snow. But back in 2 minutes, thoughts, suggestions. I'm looking for more suggestions. Give me some ideas for something interesting in the chat. Be back in 2 minutes. Give me some suggestions. Be right back. Wait, I'm trying to do something here. It's probably not going to work right now, but. Oh, shit. Hold on one second, guys. Guys, get ready. We're about to have a moment. Hold on. Oh, shit. Hold on one second, guys. I got to do something here. Get ready for it. Just bear with me 1 second. Oh, my God. If this works the way I think it's going to be. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Yo, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Hold on. Just hold on. Yo, I love the internet. Guys, I love the internet. There are so many great things about the internet. Just hold on. All right, guys. Just bear with me. I may. If this pans out, this is going to be a special late night treat. A special late night treat for you late night dweller. Dude, wow, it's late, huh? I mean, it's not that late. We've been way later, but just bear with me. I'm working on something I did not anticipate. But let me remove all this. Just hold on. Well, let's talk about this for a minute while I'm working on something in the background here. I keep pulling up the wrong thing, not this. Let's talk about this for a minute. Well, I don't know what you guys watch on, or if you were watching on. Hold on 1 second. When I saw this, my eyes got a little watery. My eyes got absolutely a little watery, because these are the type of guys. And for the newer fans that aren't familiar with these guys, take some notes and do some research on these individuals. These guys are the exact type of warriors that we so desperately need. We start off at the top. So this is before my time. Mel Bridgman, I believe the first captain of the New Jersey Devils, very historic figure. I've seen some clips and things. Obviously not as versed in his, Devils time as most of these other guys on the screen. So I don't want to just glance over, because I know a lot of you guys, and shout out to the real OGs that were fans like from the 80s. I became a fan in 1994. Bill Guerin, the current general manager of the Minnesota Wild, the man who stole Quinn Hughes from us. Many will know him as that. But before he was that, he was an absolutely phenomenal, just menacing power forward, a beautiful American. It's unfortunate the way his, Devils career was kind of cut short. I mean, listen, like every other deal, or a lot of the deals made during the Lou days, it stung when it happened. He was dealt to Edmonton in the Jason Arnott deal, and Arnott obviously went on to have a pretty impactful career as a New Jersey Devil, part of the A-line, scored the game-winning goal in Game 6, the 2000 Cup Finals, double overtime. And so when you look back on it, you're like, it paid off like many other deals that Lou made. But Billy G was definitely a favorite of mine when I was a kid. And I could tell you with no qualms or reservations or hesitations whatsoever, if Billy Guerin was on the New Jersey Devils today, he would be the toughest man on this roster by leaps and bounds. No one even close. And that's no disrespect to anybody else. Billy Guerin was that dude. Again, loved this time when he was a Devil. One of my favorites when I was a kid. A big moment in that 1996 World Cup final against Canada. He was on that team, him and Stevens going at it. I mean, wow, Billy G. What a guy. Would love to have a guy anywhere near as scritty as him on the current team. We haven't had one, I would say, in quite some time. And then we go down the list. Bobby Holik. Bobby Holik, an absolute horse. His name has been coming up a lot lately in these late, especially in the later hours of the chat where we start reminiscing during the losses. Absolute horse, great center, physically imposing, would smash people, just could do everything. Integral part of the 95 Cup team, one of the greatest fourth lines in NHL history. The Crashers, Bobby Holik centered that line. Absolute horse. We haven't had a center like him or Jason Arnott in quite some time. Another piece that a lot of us old timers will constantly fantasize about. Bobby Holik, two-time Cup champ with the Devils in 95 and 2000. And wow, would love a guy like him. And then we go to Claude Lemieux. I mean, my God, Claude Lemieux, the ultimate agitator, the ultimate playoff performer. This guy was just the pep. I mean, what can you say about the pep? He was an absolute beast, would get under people's skin, punch you in the face, score a big goal, maybe do something dirty. He wanted nothing more than to win and would do anything to do it. Also a very physically imposing gentleman. And wow, Claude Lemieux, all-time legend, 95 Conn Smythe winner, and a two-time Cup champion with the New Jersey Devils, both in 95 and 2000, after doing a little stint in Colorado where he won another Cup. And was back-to-back Cup champs. One with the Devils in 95 and then went to the Avs and won with them in 96. And then we go to Johnny Mac. Johnny Mac, I would say, not nearly as tough as some of the other guys on this list, but very tough in his own right. And again, I would say Johnny Mac would be the toughest guy on this current team as well. I mean, God, I hate to be this old dinosaur, but this was a different era. These are just throwback warriors. And obviously the list is 50 points and 100 penalty minutes in a single season. Phenomenal stuff. Johnny Mac going into the Ring of Honor in a couple weeks. 95 Cup champ with the Devils. Another guy whose career with the Devils did not end in the best fashion. Hold on one second. But another huge part of Devils history was the franchise leader in points for an eternity until Patrick Elias broke the record during the same night Marty broke the NHL all-time wins record. What a time. What a time. Obviously scored the massive goal in 88 against Chicago to get the Devils to the playoffs for the first time. Hold on. Kirk Muller, another guy with a mean streak before my time. Shanny. And what is there to say about Shanny? Even Shanny in his second stint when he was, I want to say four. Let me just double check how old he was. When he came back at the end of his career, he fought Eric Bolton, who was a legitimate heavyweight. All right, so he was born in 69. Yeah, so he was literally 40 years old. And he fought Eric Bolton. I mean, guy had 600 goals, I think, at the time. Yeah, he had over 600 goals. And he's fighting first ballot Hall of Famer, multiple-time Cup champ. And he's out there fighting Eric Bolton. What a scrapper Shanny was. And then obviously Scott Stevens, right? I mean, Scott Stevens, if you had to pick an alpha male of this era of the NHL, Scott Stevens is on everyone's short list for sure. In terms of, outside of just pure enforcers. Obviously, this was the golden era of enforcers, and you had guys like Probert and tons of killers, tons of absolute killers in the league at the time. But in terms of like skilled players that weren't just enforcers, Scott Stevens just single-handedly changing games and playoff series by just crushing dudes, just absolutely crushing dudes. And yeah, I mean, Scott Stevens, right? He's synonymous with the New Jersey Devils, the ultimate captain, the ultimate competitor, one of the scariest dudes to ever put on a pair of skates, and a guy that we will forever be talking about. I mean, Scott Stevens was that guy. Scotty Stevens was that guy. I don't think we'll ever see another one like him, but I do think you have to kind of try to scour the world to find anyone who even remotely resembles him. Anyone remotely in that mold. If you have a little bit of Scott Stevens DNA in you, you are the type of player that I want on my hockey team. Hands down. I mean, the competitive level, how serious he took it, not backing down from anything. Talk about doing anything to win. I mean, God, we were so spoiled, guys. If you were fortunate enough to be a fan back then, what a time. M Sharp's a great graphic. Those are some hockey players. But I'd take Pepe off that list for this team. What? I would love Pepe on this team. Any of these guys. Are you kidding me? Bobby Holik. B now says I have a Holik jersey. I mentioned him a lot. Bobby, what a legend. What a legend. World Gamer. He adjusted and became a different player. David, remember Guerin's trademark finishing on a 2-on-1 rush with a wraparound? I love those even when they didn't work. Jason, no, Dylan's old school undrafted. He wouldn't back down to Guerin. No, that'd be a war. That'd be a war between warriors. B now, you could say he had 22 points in a cup run and got the Conn Smythe. Edmund, not going to lie, I do some sketchy to have 2009 Zach Parise and 2012 David Clarkson. Would love either one of those guys too. Just there's no shortage of guys who we've seen represent the New Jersey Devils over the years that have left an impact on all of us for one reason or another. And these are some tough dudes. David says, people forget McLean had Snarl, fantastic player. Huge Parisi fan. I love Zach. At the time, he was my favorite current player. And that Olympics, that 2010 Olympic goal, man, that really sucked. That really sucked. Be now Johnny Mack got into those dirty areas and the best goal scorer on the list, arguably. I think Shani might want a word about that, but Mack is definitely towards the top. Guerin definitely had some scraps. David chimes, and if you remember, Guerin was a central figure, I believe, in that scuffle with the Islanders on a Saturday afternoon during the 95-96 season before Corey Schwab came flying down the ice and pummeled Tommy Soderstrom into a pulp. One of my favorite regular season Devils moments of all time. I'll never forget watching that as a kid and losing my mind. I'd never seen anything like it. And in terms of the Devils, we haven't seen anything like it since. It was 30 years ago. Jay Snow, Patty Gomer, Eliash, Marty Stevens. Those were the days. Jay Snow, Eliash should be a Hall of Famer. Patty was so good, man, and played in two completely different eras. Yeah, Patty was kind of the bridge between the old era and the new era. What a guy. What a player, huh? What a player, Patty Eliash. M. Sharp Lemieux had it all. He played his game with no apologies. That he did. Was not afraid of anything. But now I love Pepe. I was so upset when he left. Look at this. What a small world. World's worst gamer says Pat Verbeek was from my hometown of Sarnia, Ontario. SJ agree. Eliash is my favorite Devils player. Did everything. I mean, he's one of my. I have so many favorites over the years, but obviously Patty's all-time legend. World's worst gamer Muller was a complete player similar to Heischer or Bergeron. B now, I've met Eliash and Lemaire. You used to be able to go to the Turtleback Zoo and watch practices. Yeah, it was South Mountain Arena. South Mountain Arena, which was in front of the Turtleback Zoo. And I would go there all the time. That was part of my kind of, I would say, becoming a hardcore fan very quickly. Was having the accessibility and being able to go watch practice so often. It was a different world, pre-social media and camera phones, and everything was better then. Everything was better then. There was open New Jersey Devils practices, and you could just go in there on a Tuesday and go watch Hall of Famers. I mean, it was crazy. Jason, I wish Patty would come back and coach. So do I. Patty should 100% be in the organization, but he has younger kids. Or not younger, but, you know, I think they're like teenagers now or like preteens. And it seems like he's enjoying his life kind of traveling with them and doing dad stuff that he, you know, probably missed out on when they were super young. It was amazing, man. Watching the practices they're amongst the better childhood memories that I have. Like some of my fondest memories from that age, like as a young kid, up until even through, I don't know, when did it end? I guess I was young 20s. I mean, it was phenomenal. Vecna, I would love Shanahan as the president and assistant general manager. Oh, I'd love Shanahan as the president and the assistant general manager from Florida as the general manager of our team. I don't want Sonny, man. I know a lot of people are pushing that around, and I'm probably in the minority, but I've said I don't want an analytics dude as the GM. I would like him in some other capacity. I'm assuming it would be the same role he has now. Maybe they could give him some other title too, like assistant GM and something else. I don't know. Oh, guys. All right. Enough of the nostalgia. We had some, where is this? I'm losing all my shit. We had some technical delays, but due to the capabilities of the internet in 2026, making his running with the Devils debut. And I've never talked to this man before. You all know him. Devil's Den Hockey, my man. All right, man. I got a bunch of questions before we get into this. All right. What is your name? What's your name, first of all?
So like I said, on YouTube, I usually just go by Devil's Den Hockey.
That's it? You got to come up with something better than that.
All right. Got something better than that. So generally, name I go by, everybody calls me is my name's Austin. Yeah, Austin's. We're just gonna go with that for now.
Austin. All right. No, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Use your government name, Austin. Great to have you on, man. Hold on, I got to move because I did the split screen. All right. So I got a couple questions before I let you. I'm gonna let you do what you want to do. When did you where do you live in Canada?
So I live around like the GTA Toronto area.
Okay.
So in Ontario, not too far from Toronto.
Okay. And you grew up there, lived your whole life there?
Yeah. Whole 30-something years.
You're in your 30s?
Yeah.
So when did you become a Devils fan, and more importantly, how?
So I've been watching, following, being a fan of the Devils for probably close to about 20 years now. I grew up surrounded by Leafs fan. My family are Leaf fans. However, I grew up playing goalie for a whole ton of different sports, and so I ended up watching Martin Brodeur a ton, which I feel like is the stereotypical New Jersey sort of fandom beginning. Is we all fell in love with Brodeur. I ended up falling in love with him. Great goalie, greatest of all time. And so from there, I got my love of Brodeur to the Devils, to guys like Eliage, to guys like Parise. And from there, it just went from liking one or two guys to just loving the team in its entirety.
No, that makes perfect sense, especially if you were a goalie.
Yeah.
Marty, in my opinion, obviously the greatest to ever do it. I know people will kind of come with the Patrick Waz once in a while, and there'll be the random Hasek. Wait, so you said you're in your 30s. Are you old enough to remember the 2002 gold medal, or were you too young?
I was probably a bit too young. That would have been a couple of years before I started to like actually follow the team.
Okay, so I know I've talked to a lot of Canadians, over the years about the Devils and things. And the one thing that comes up quite often with a lot of them is obviously he's a Canadian great, so there's going to be a slight bias there, but there is no shortage of great Canadian goaltenders over the history of the league. But the one thing that they all talk about, that they all really respect and love Marty for, is the fact that he delivered that gold medal in 2002 and broke I think it was a 50-year gold medal drought. And for a country that prides themselves so much on hockey and his religion. Yeah. My ear just popped. They all say Marty broke the streak. And obviously now, since then, they've won 2010. Is that it? 2002 they won.
2010 was the big one with getting the pass over Crosby and winning it in overtime. That was the big one. It feels like
you remember that one.
That one I remember.
So you remember Zach Parise tying it up late?
Yeah.
Good man. All right, so if you're just joining us or whatever, we're here with my man Austin from Devil's Den Hockey. I just stumbled across his channel a couple days ago after one of the bad losses. I forget which one, but I was like, I got to get this guy on.
There's so many to pick from.
I just dropped the link in the chat to his channel. Definitely go give him a sub. His videos are great. So what did you I didn't get to watch your video yet. Obviously, I've been on here for a while, but what are your kind of thoughts about this game? Does it change anything for your kind of outlook on the season? Kind of give me we're in the last couple hours here after the game had ended. What are you kind of thinking at this point, Austin?
So here's my take. And if you haven't gone to see the video, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. I think that this game was probably, in my personal opinion, one of the top 5 games the Devils have played all around for the entirety of the year. I thought that seeing Bratt score 2, seeing Palat score 2, seeing Hamilton.
Wait 1 second. I'm going to come off camera. I'm going to give you the full screen. I'll be back. Go do your thing, baby. I'll be back when you're done. Go on and give us what you got. Give us what you got.
So seeing Bratt score 2, seeing Palat score 2, seeing Hamilton get 2 assists, seeing that what was it? Palat, Heischer, Mercer line that I thought was fantastic tonight. Marksham having a save percentage finally above 900. And it just felt like there's been so many games where it sometimes have felt like an individual effort where you get like one or two guys that like kind of are trying. But this game sort of felt like it was a whole all around. The whole team came together. The Wild were definitely in our end for extended periods of time, probably too long, because God knows this team can't clear a puck to save their lives. But the fact that like the Wild would push in on us and we actually responded accordingly, I thought I saw people actually throwing hits and like shoulder checks into people, which I don't know how long that's been since we've seen Devils players actually hit a guy in response. I just thought it was an overall really good game. My only, and this is me being a little bit more nitpicky, while I think that this win was great, and hopefully this will be a building block for more wins in the future, I don't want people to lose the criticism that I think is rightfully deserved against the Devils, whether it's the players, whether it's Keith, whether it's Fitz, that like the one win we have tonight doesn't end up distracting from the last month and a half of hockey where they've played absolutely abysmal hockey. The one win can't be like used as sort of like an eraser to distract from all of the other games that we've played where we've just played horribly. I've had a lot of issues with Dougie Hamilton for the last month and a half with his play. I'm glad he got 2 assists tonight, but like you're going to need to show me a lot more than 2 assists in one night to like get me back in your good books. I still think Fitz has to go. The roster construction is just not where it needs to be, to the point where like we can't even make moves because of all of the NMCs, the no move clauses and the no trade clauses. And like, again, I'm thrilled that we won, but like this one win can't be used to sort of erase all of the bad that's gone on so far. There still has to be big changes. There still has to be accountability for GM, for coach, for players. That's basically my take on tonight's game.
No, very thorough, and I agree with everything you said. And I started off my show by saying, like, listen, I'm as down on this team as I ever have been. Love the team. Will always root for them. Always thrilled for a win. 2 points is a very needed, gutsy win on the road. But I said the same thing. Nothing has changed for me. The organization is still in a disastrous way, in my opinion, and 100% Fitz still must go. One win against Minnesota after losing 4 in a row, and the horrible season. I'm going to call it a horrible season overall thus far, because it is a major disappointment. Cannot change the overall picture or outlook on this team, and they definitely need sweeping changes. And it starts with Fitz, in my opinion, for sure. I don't have much confidence in him to do anything to truly improve this team, but I'm curious. I guess follow-up questions here would be, what do you think happens in terms of the D for next game? Now that, Dougie was pulled out, we have all these rumors, then they scratched Nemo. I don't know if you saw, Keith did tell the world that he told Nemo, oh, it's only one game, you're right back in. So what do you think they do for defense for the next game?
I honestly have no idea. I won't lie. When I saw that Hamilton was being put back in after one game and we scratched Nemec, who in my opinion has been one of the better, if not the best defenseman we've had this year, I went ballistic. I was like, what are you talking about? Hamilton gets scratched for one game, and now suddenly all is forgiven and he's back in. And again, like, I see the win and I'm glad we won, but it's like, is this win going to change the narrative that actually Nemec was the problem? Or, I mean, I even saw it today. It's like, well, look what happens when we don't have AHL players in the lineup. It's like the AHL guys were not the problem here, like at all. Like my issue with guys like Colton White or Chalowski, like they're so far down on the priority list in terms of who I'm going to blame here. I would love to see Nemec return to the lineup and Hamilton get scratched again. I want to see and I want to see like a prolonged period of games. Like it doesn't even have to be like 10, 15 games. It could even just be 3 or 4. Scratch Hamilton. Let's see what we do here, and let's see if there's wins. And if it doesn't work, we revisit it. But this whole like, well, we're going to send a message by scratching Hamilton, and it lasts 1 game, and that's it. I guess they learned their lesson. Maybe, I don't know. Like it really depends on what the attitude of the team is. If the team is going to show the level of effort they showed tonight, then like I don't really think it matters all that much whether it's Nemec in the lineup or Hamilton in the lineup. If you've got guys trying and, excuse my French here, giving a shit, then it really shouldn't matter who's in the lineup. But if you've got guys that are making, and I've said this on my channel about 100 times now, if you've got a guy making $9 million a year and doing absolutely nothing, he can't be playing. Like put in somebody else. Yeah, that's really all it comes down to for me.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed when I saw the news a couple hours before the game. I fully thought that we had seen Dougie Hamilton play his last game as a Devil, just because now that it's out there, he's sulked. And listen, I like Dougie, but like, it's come to the point now, like we clearly need the roster spot. We would love the $9 million or as much of it as we can free up. I would love to see them not have to retain, but at some point, like, we're actively trying to trade you. The whole world knows it. Nemo, Keefe called him our best defenseman, I believe, before the last game when Kovacevic came back. He was like, listen, Dougie's out because, Nemo has to play and Kovacevic has to play. So I just don't know how you go from that kind of mentality to now, oh, Nemo struggled or he's hurt, whatever BS spin he put on it. And then say Dougie has to play. Like, I don't know. I just feel like the longer that he's still here and not moved, like the more of a distraction this is going to become. And I don't know that they're going to have the audacity to sit him next game. I mean, I would have never put him back in. Honestly, I would have just waited till we were able to deal him. He obviously has 1 foot out the door. Nemo has a future here, a bright spot, one of the bright spots for the Devils. Monster first half of the season before the injury. I said he's single-handedly won more games than pretty much anyone else on this roster, including forwards who have been in the league for 9 years. Like, going back to the playoffs, kid had a double overtime playoff winner. Like, I'm not going to say, he deserves free reign because of that, but that's a big time moment in his career. Huge win for the Devils, only win of the series. And then you go to this year, he had the hat trick against the Caps in overtime to win it. He had the shootout winner. Like, he's literally won more games than your big name forwards have. And he's coming back from injury. And then you kind of strike his confidence down with scratching him for a game. And I don't know. And I don't know if you heard about a week or so ago when Keefe was asked about potentially scratching Luke, he was like, oh, he's a young player. I don't want to hurt his confidence. You might not get him to play again like that for weeks. And it's like, well, where is that thought process when you're talking about Nemo? Like, a guy who already was, I think he kind of did it to himself last year, but he was kind of up and down last year. He was scratched. He was in the NHL, and he had that interview with I think it was a Czech publication or whatever that got translated, and it may have gotten blown out of proportion, but people were speculating like, oh, he wants off the Devils. He went through all that, and now he's kind of right back in not the same spot, but he's getting scratched coming back from injury where he's had a monster season. Like, I think most people, I'll tell you this, and I'll never, back away from things that I had said. In the summer, a lot of people were like, we need to trade Dougie right now. And I firmly was like, I'm petrified to do that until we really know that Nemo has arrived. And a lot of people are like, you got to do it. You got to do it. And those people ended up being correct. But for me at the time, I was like, listen, I'm not going to get super high off of the Nemo playoff small sample size and be like, now we could just totally discard Dougie Hamilton after our defense looked so great last year. To just discard a veteran and be like, we hope Nemo and Luke could pick up the slack, I thought was crazy. Turns out Nemo, or at least I still believe, is that guy, despite this kind of little setback for him. But I do think it's a mess. And I did predict earlier that next game they're going to say, Kovacevic is a little sore or something like that. And I think he could be the guy coming out in an unprecedented move to piss off half of your D-core within 1 week to pull him out.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be surprised by anything with this team at this point. Like you said before, when I saw the news pregame that, Dougie was back in and Nemo was scratched, my jaw was on the floor. I was furious. Let me get to some of these comments here. We're here with Austin from Devils Den Hockey. Go sub to his channel. Link is in the chat. Let me just see where we're at. We got Sook says this guy is great. We got the Den. B now. Devil's Den. I just subbed, homie. Welcome, Austin. We got Austin 316.
Yeah.
We got Austin or Austin with a is it with an I or an O?
It's an I.
Austin, you're the GOAT. I just saw this dude's video the other day. We got I hate the Leafs. Austin, let's go Devils. Is there I guess I'd imagine Devils fans are few and far between in Toronto.
I won't lie, in terms of like hockey communities, it's pretty squarely it's weird. So in the Toronto area, you're basically either a Leafs ride or die, or like you don't watch hockey. There really isn't any in between.
There's
there.
people in Canada that don't watch hockey. I didn't even know that existed.
Tons. You'd be shocked at the number of Canadians that like either don't watch hockey at all or like don't watch sports. Period. I have a few pretty close friends of mine who I've just started getting them to watch hockey for the first time, and they're in like their mid-20s. So like there's definitely people who don't. I haven't run into another Toronto-based Devils fan. They're usually, if they're hockey fans, they're generally rooting for the Leafs. Or they just despise the Leafs with every fiber of their being, which I can get because 50 years of failure must suck. Yeah. So
I guess you're, whether you tried to follow it or not, I'm assuming you're kind of in tune with what's going on with the Leafs.
Yeah.
What did you think when the Devils hired Keefe?
I'm not gonna lie. So for context, my mom is a huge Leaf fan, has been watching the Leafs for probably over 40 years now. And so there are sometimes I'll be watching the Devils game on one side of the room and she'll be watching the Leafs game on the other side of the room. So I was very familiar with Sheldon Keefe. And I thought that the Leafs had a very similar style of playing hockey that the Devils do. They were a young team. They were fast. They would break into the zone with speed. They'd get a cycle going. They'd try to get shots from the point, or they would just snipe it with Austin Matthews or Nylander or Tavares or Marner, right? And I thought, okay, well, Keefe is going to come from that system and come over to the Devils, which is also a young, fast team that has the potential to break into the zone with speed, get a cycle going, and get guys to shoot the puck like Jack Hughes, like Jesper Bratt, like hopefully Mercer, which feels like he has an on-off switch where he powers down for 15, 20 games, and then he powers back on for 4, and then powers back down again. But I was really excited initially when Keefe came over to the Devils, because I was like, okay, like I know this coach, like I know what he's been able to do regular season. He's had a really good track record. He's never missed the playoffs in his entire coaching career. This is going to be a great adjustment for the Devils. And last year, I was actually pretty happy with the results. Obviously, injuries are the gift that keeps on giving for the Devils. And we got obliterated by the Canes because literally over half our team was sidelined with injuries or playing with injuries. And then this year, it's been like, what is going on right now? It feels like Keefe's entire system, and I don't know if it's Keefe's system or if he's getting pressure from Fitzgerald or getting pressure from other members of the organization above him to like play a certain way, and it just doesn't work. I get the focus of trying to play defense first, because if you can't control what happens on your end of the ice, you're never going to be able to control what happens on the opponent's end of the ice. And I get that, but like this team is not designed to be defense first. It just like you have guys like Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes who are young, fast guys who love to shoot the puck. And now we're doing this weird thing where we break in and we just circle over and over and over and never shoot the puck for some reason. And then it's like, oh, when the other team is breaking into our end, we just immediately back up and just let them come forward and then stick check, I guess. Like, I don't know.
The poke checks drive me crazy.
It's like I'll sit there and I'm like, Dougie Hamilton, you're like over 6'3". hit a guy. Like, you have the body for it. Dylan, we literally brought you in to be like physically aggressive. Lay a hit, drop a guy. I'm fine with this. Like, go for it. But this whole, like, we're just going to back up, let them come in, and then stick our sticks out and pray that it somehow does something, while Marksham and Allen are like, hey guys, can we keep the shots to like under 35 a game, please? I'm begging you. Like, please, my career is possibly like resting on this. I need you guys to like block a shot maybe, or like throw a hit. Please, God.
They did it tonight, 22. But yeah, I like just separate dudes' body, just separate guys from the puck, just crush them. The stick checks, it drives me crazy. These weak little poke checks. I don't know if that is a system thing or just our guys not wanting to hit guys, but I certainly would like to see some more physicality as well, especially in the D zone where there's just guys freewheeling around and you're like, gee, there's stretches of shifts that look like power plays. We got a question for you here from Butta Smooth. Has he ever visited Meadowlands or The Rock?
Yes, I was actually down with my family. We were doing a trip to New York about a year or two ago, and we actually went for my very first NHL game period down at The Rock a year or two ago. And I actually did a video in the hotel room for the Devil's Den channel in the hotel talking about the game and how it was like my first ever game, because Leaf tickets, if you guys don't know, Leaf tickets are ridiculously expensive. You're spending hundreds of dollars, and I don't mean like $120. I'm talking like $300, $400, $500, $600 for like one ticket to go see a Leafs game. It's insane. Nobody, like, unless you're making upwards of six figures, is going to these games because nobody can afford it. Winnipeg's having the same issue where they can't get butts in seats because their tickets are ridiculously expensive. So my family, we went down to New York. We're like, well, Devils tickets are only like $40, $50. Why don't we just go to one of the games? And it was one of the spots we ended up going to. It was against Pittsburgh. It was the game where we were up. I think it was like 3-1 or 4-1, and Pittsburgh won like 5-4 or something like that. I was losing my mind the entire
year.
It was either the last year or the year before. I can't remember the exact date, but it was a year or two ago.
Sid play?
Sid played, yeah.
Yeah, Sid Live is they're starting to wind down. I always try to catch at least a Pens game. For sure. And the same with obviously the Caps and Ovechkin, because these legends are not going to be around forever. What do we got here? David says, glad someone else gets it. Fire Fitz. This is a very anti-Fitzgerald channel for the most part. And I would say, I think we're living in a pretty much anti-Fitzgerald fan base at this point. I think most of his remaining supporters got on the Fire Fitz train after the Islanders game. If the few that were still left before that, I think they all jumped on after that Islander game because what an
it was, for me, it was the Islanders game that sealed it. I've never been one of these people to be like, this person for certain is the problem, needs to go. And then it was the 9-0, and I was sitting here thinking, okay, what do the Devils need to do in order to win games? And I'm going through the roster, and I'm like, we can't move anyone. Like, we literally can't move anyone of any
magic, baby.
value.
That is Fitz magic.
Like, and I'm sitting here going, like, if we can't build a roster where if the team starts to tank, that we can't move a piece or two, we're screwed. And if that has to start with the GM being held accountable, I can't remember who said it. Who said that? It might have been you. I can't remember who said something like Fitz has gone into witness protection program. But, like, no one heard from him.
I definitely said witness protection.
Yeah, I think it was you, because I watched your videos quite a bit. They're very entertaining. But yeah, no, and I was sitting here and I'm like, okay, like if our general manager can't build a roster that can't be changed, at least in part during the year, then like you basically are making your moves in the off season and then praying that nothing goes wrong. And seeing how injury prone this Devils team is, you sometimes have to make moves in the middle of the season before the trade deadline to keep your team afloat. And that was why, like today, when there was that report that came out saying that either ownership or the people above Fitz are not going to review his performance until the offseason. I was like, what are we doing right now? Like, are we insane? Have we lost our minds? Like like the Devils are going down like the Titanic, and we're like, yeah, we'll wait till the year's over. Like, It's beyond me. Like if I worked a job, right, and I was the manager of a store, whatever it is, and I told my employees, hey, I know the store isn't making money right now, but we literally can't do anything about it, I'd be fired the next day. Like it's nightmare fuel.
In any sort of real world application, if anyone was
You'd be gone.
objectively as bad at their job as he was, immediate termination, much longer. And the fact, that these stories are coming out, and it's like, we're going to reassess at the end of the year. And it's like, you're going to let this guy burn what was supposed to be another promising year and then be like, maybe we'll look at him then. And the crazy part is, we've talked about this a lot on the channel. The ownership group is certainly a problem. They're looking, their report card for success is purely financial and money. And the Devils and most sports teams these days, with all the league revenues, with the TV deals and corporate sponsors and tickets and merchandise and food and yada yada, they're all wildly profitable, even if the team sucks.
Yeah.
So it's like you're kind of in this never-ending cycle where it's like, well, if no one cares about winning, and that's pretty clear at this point, if you're allowing this man to continually be the general manager, then what are we talking about? Like, the plot has been lost, and I do fear that we may be in this kind of long-term situation with these owners where there is no emphasis on winning. And as long as a team is profitable, round and round we go. And it could be a Fitzgerald near lifetime appointment here.
Well, that's not nightmare inducing, but I was saying to someone either today or yesterday that it's like the Devils are trapped in this sort of limbo that they cannot get out of. It's neither heaven nor hell. They're just stuck in perpetual limbo where everything seems to have its ups and its downs, but nothing can be done about anything. So we just sit here and wait and just see what happens, even though, again, the team is going down like the Titanic and no one seems to be at the head of the ship yelling for lifeboats. I don't know. I don't. And again, like you said, like in any other real world application of a manager position, like you'd be getting fired for this. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. And I get not wanting to let GMs go in the middle of the season, but like we started the season as like potential cup contenders that could at least make.
That's a sorry excuse. So someone's doing a bad job, allow them to continue to do a bad job for longer because you don't want to do it in the middle of the season. And a lot of idiots have run with that too. And I'm like, that. And then they're like, name a person you would get. I'm like, literally anybody. Anyone who's ever general managed in the league, I would take over what we're getting right now with no hesitation. So we got another question here. Austin, what do you think of Dawes? This comes from M. Sharp.
Oh, you want to talk about wasted opportunities? I feel like, and again, this goes back to Fitz not being able to move goalies up and down in the system because of no move clauses. The fact that Markstrom basically is tanking his own numbers and we can't move him down is a serious concern when, as far as I've been saying, Jake Allen needs to be the starting goaltender of the New Jersey Devils since like the second week of December because his numbers have just been better. His performances have been better. I don't know why we're not bringing Dawes up. Well, I know why, because Markstrom can't go anywhere. Right. And make it be an Allen Dawes, and then whoever is playing better, stick them in, play them for 2 or 3 games. If they start to go down, play the other guy. But like, it feels like and again, I said this about Mercer with the on-off switch. I feel like Markstrom is the same way. He's either posting 915, 920 numbers, or it's like 840 save percentage. You never get an in-between. And when it's constantly bad performances, Dawes doesn't get called up, who I don't blame for being like, okay, guys, like, what's my future here? Because if you're not going to use me, then you might as well trade me, because I'm sitting here trying to develop. I've had like moments in the NHL, and that's about it. So if you're not going to do anything with me, at least trade me to a team that's actually going to want to use me. Like trade me to like, and I know we've traded every goaltender known to man to the San Jose Sharks, but like the San Jose Sharks are at least going upward. Like give Dawes a chance over there, or give him to like the Utah Mammoth and have him play over there. There's so many opportunities for Dawes, but again, because Fitz gives people no move clauses and then they tank, we can't do anything with the current problem. We can't bring Dawes up. I'd love to give Dawes an opportunity. And if he's bad, then he goes back to the AHL. But if he's good, then you have 2 solid, competent goaltenders.
No, I like Dawes too. I think, the extending Markey for 2 years when they did was certainly baffling. And I feel like no matter what, they're going to just ride that now. So like you have Markey.
Well, they don't have any other choice.
You have Markey for 2 years after this. Allen for what, 4 more years after this? Obviously, he might not stay the whole time, but I do feel like this is another kind of category you could look at and you'd be like, what a mess you made here. Like, and Dawes, I don't think they end up trading him. I don't even know at this point what his trade value would be necessarily, but I think he's going to just finish up the year probably in Utica, and then he's going to sign with another team in the summer, and we'll probably see him go on to be another guy who thrives elsewhere. And God forbid next year, becomes another story of, the Devils' old goalies aren't holding up, and then everyone's going to be like, we threw Akira Schmid to the curb. Franchise legend, in my opinion, by the way, the only guy outside of the great Martin Brodeur who's won a playoff round for this team in the past 32 years.
True.
He was thrown into the scrap heap. I thought they messed up his development too. But now, Dawes may be another guy where it's like, there is no long-term answer in net right now. They hope that it's Yegorov, the kid at BU. Could be promising, but far from a guarantee. And so, yeah, I do think Dawes kind of found himself, and he probably hates the Devils with a passion already, honestly. Like, he's been in this kind of weird spot now for a while, and I think the whole world expected, or at least I did. I think most people expected this year the tandem was going to be Markey and Dawes. I don't think anyone anticipated Allen signing that deal. I think everyone thought he was going to go. Supposedly teams are going to offer him $4 or $5 million a year for 2 or 3 years. Everyone expected him to jump in free agency. Like, what are you going to do? We couldn't afford him. It was going to be Markey and Dawes, and then they figure out that deal. I have to give Fitz credit for that deal. 1.8 million cap hit for Allen, pretty damn nice. But now we're in this kind of situation where we're now gambling on 2 old guys, which is fine as long as you're performing. Mm-hmm. And I do feel way more confident when Jake Allen is in there versus Markey. Like, you never know what you're going to get with Markey. Great game for him tonight. Obviously, before the Islander meltdown, he had a stretch of several games where it was like, okay, Markey finally might be finding his footing.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that on any given night he could potentially go out there and have one of those games where you're like, dude, is there something like in his eye? Did someone put, he's just not seeing anything, slow to react, gets lit up for a 9-piece. It's concerning. I'm obviously all we could do is hope that he gets back to where he was and stays there, but it seems like it might be a thrill ride with Markey for the rest of his time here, where it just could be like a little, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. My attitude on Keefe really flipped very radically after the 9-0 loss. As a ex-goaltender, there is no position in all of sports that is 90% a mental game and 10% what you actually do on the field. Letting a goalie get shelled for 9 goals and refusing to pull him out of the net, like you might as well like crucify the guy publicly at that point. Like, Markstrom lets in 3 goals on 5 shots. At that point, immediately you need to pull him. And
I thought after 3, it should have happened.
Yeah, and Keefe, I'm watching the second period, and I'm seeing him still in net in the second, and I'm like, Keefe, what are you doing? Like, pull the guy. Like, and again, I don't know if Keefe is trying to send a message to Fitz, like, wake up, this is the tools you've given me, and this is what happens, or I mean, even his comments after the game, where it was like, oh, I really thought Markstrom needed to own the net. It's like, I don't like, are we watching the same game? Like, I feel like there are times like I'll watch, like, here, the same game. We lose 9-0. Okay. We lose 9-0. And Keefe says Markstrom needs to own the net. And then right after that says that it was the best offensive performance of the year for him. 9-0. Best offensive performance, says Keefe. And it was like, oh, because we had 45 shots on net. How many went in?
A lot of people have wanted to fire Keefe. Like, people get bloodthirsty, and I've said to people, like, listen, to scapegoat another coach, like, he doesn't have the playoff success per se, but it's not a coincidence that the guy's made the playoffs everywhere he's ever coached at every level.
Yeah,
you have to put some stock into that. And they're like, oh, he's in the wrong system, and everyone this, that, and the other thing. For me, I'm like, listen, you could say that, But when they're clearly it's not like there wasn't glorious chances in most of these games. You see, like, you can complain about the system all you want. In the end, these guys are getting breakaways, quality, deflection attempts in the crease. They're just tons of chances where you're like, the system you could knock the system all you want. They're still generating tons of chances, and they're still not putting the puck in the net. And so for me to allow Fitz primarily to scapegoat another coach for his own personal shortcomings in fortifying this roster and making the proper adjustments, and the group itself for not being able to score and being mental midgets, I was like, listen, I can't blame Keefe for this because they're getting the chances and they're not scoring. I do hate the advanced analytics and all that stuff. I think
me too.
But overall, like, as a Bible until you make every decision, I think it's nonsense. But I did see there was one floating around from, I remember it was a game or two ago, where it was like over the past month, the Devils were like minus 21 goals above expected or whatever scored for. And it's like, if that doesn't tell you that the chances are there and they're just sucking, like, blame Keefe for that. Like, how are you going to blame Keefe for that? But we got a comment here. Buttis Move, another one. This guy's high list consideration for remote New Jersey. And I think that's like the highest honor.
There you go. There you go.
That's better than like a Nobel Peace Prize, man.
I'm one of the people now. There you go.
I'm trying to skim through these comments. We got a very chatty group here.
Yeah, I'm noticing that quite a bit, actually.
You trade Luke and Jack said, can we clone this dude and put him in charge of the Devils? We got another wasted year. People are complaining about the owners. Dougie is a teddy bear. He rarely hits.
Hold on. I'm just going to grab my charger. Most of my laptop's about
okay.
Just about to crap out on me.
What a night, folks. You never know what's going to happen late night on Running with the Devils, I got an idea came to me late in the wee hours. And here we are with Austin from Devil's Den, who's retrieving his charger right now. I was shutting it down. I got to shut it down soon. I'm dying over here in more ways than one. But, yeah, late night surprise. Late night surprises. Damn, it's 2:13. Just
there we go.
Comments here. Yeah, appreciate everybody for being here in the late night. I'm skipping around. Evan said good takes. I don't know if this is Winnipeg better than Newark. I don't know. I mean, in terms of a hockey city, sure. Another wasted year. Ryan and Respect says this was a legendary refresh pull from you. Yeah, I was about to shut it down. And I'm like, let me see if I could pull a surprise right here. Shout out to you for being right on the computer. As soon as I commented, I was like, all right, this might happen.
I always, after I put a video up, I always try to like stay up for at least the next half an hour to an hour and try to like respond to people who comment or whatever it is. And then I saw yours and I'm like, go. Like,
wait, I'm looking at your
like,
video.
Where's the email? Get this, like, because it's almost 2:30 in the morning over here.
Yeah,
so I am
same time.
And I am wired right now. So I'm
after all these games, I'm wired. Oh man, so I'm just skimming your channel here. You've been at this for a minute.
I've been at this for a couple of years now, yeah.
Dude, so, and this is just such a sad reflection of society, but it looks like, hold on. I'm just skimming here. Yeah, that literally, I'm going to say your channel exploded due to the Devils sucking.
Yeah,
isn't that a sad reality? I mean, I guess it goes hand in hand with the beauty of the rants that you do. But like, isn't that sad that we live in such a negative society that people rather watch videos of their team losing? I'm imagining most of them are Devils fans watching it. Rather watch videos about your team losing than when you were winning.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. Yeah. I've noticed the same thing actually. I'm like, oh my god, like there's more comments and everything. It's like during bad times, and it's like, yo, can you guys be that energetic when
for a win
times are good?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, you guys just want to come here and be miserable. And like, I don't like being miserable, but I'll certainly, indulge in it when it's called for. Let me see what we got here. We said, Ryan, Respect, I saw you were still streaming and I see Devil's Den. I had to do a double take. Yeah, we got the split screen going here. World's Worst Gamer says, glad you brought him on. He seems an up-and-coming Devils YouTuber. Yeah, due to the beauty of our Devils sucking, my man Austin's rants have hit the mainstream.
There you go.
Unbelievable. It took a terrible Devils team.
Yeah, I remember waking up the next morning after the 9-0 win, and I went on to check how the video was doing, and I was like, holy crap, what is going on right now? I think the 9-0 game, it's almost up to like 4.5K now, and I'm like
4,500.
I was out here like, hey, if I can get 50 views in a video, like, I'll take it. I'm just some guy who like records stuff in a basement and streams at like wooden paneling behind me, and then all of a sudden it was just boom, everything exploded, and I was like, what is going on right now? And it's been great. I've had so many people from, and not just Devils fans, I've had Islanders fans come in, I've had Rangers fans come in, I've had Bruins, I've had Blues fans comment on the video being like, I'm so sorry for what's happening in New Jersey. I obviously had a back and forth with the St. Louis guy going like, I know that you understand the pain right now because St. Louis is in the toilet.
Yeah.
But no, I've had fans from all different teams. I had someone tonight who's a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. It was like, I'm a Pens fan, but like, I was so happy for you. The Devils actually won a game. Like, it's crazy. Like the how all these different communities end up overlapping and showing up, which is awesome.
The old adage, misery loves company, is certainly evidenced by your
Absolutely.
4,500 views on the Islanders rant. What the hell was I going to say? Oh, yeah, and you know your hockey team's bad when you're getting, like, condolence messages. I've gotten some.
Yeah.
There's a Blues fan, even a Rangers fan. It's like, yeah, our teams are trash together. I'm like, bro, what? I'm living in some sort of Twilight Zone.
Everything's falling apart.
Simulation. We got Jay Snow said, never know who's going to pop on camera. B now said, this is dope. But a Smooth says, get this guy in like once a month or something. Oh, you guys obviously know Austin's going to obviously be back.
Of course. I'll come back whenever you guys want me to.
We got here, right, and respect. How did I not find this guy earlier than a 9-0 game? And apparently, it's shame on all of you. You all dwell in negativity, and it took some negative moments. I guess that could be a silver lining for you, Austin, personally. I mean, it sucks that the team sucks, but, you know, it did help you out, as painful as the circumstances were. Yeah, we got Ryan Respects says, F YouTube's algorithm loves negativity. Well, it's not just the algorithm.
It really does.
People watching the videos, too. You're all negative. You're all negative. It's more crowded when we lose. No, we got a hockey comment here. I thought we were much better in the neutral zone as well in this game, and a lot of sticks clearing pucks. Wild got a few point-blank shots, but it was better the third I really liked, as did I the first. And it's crazy because I literally it literally just went through like a split second before. The Devils had 0 shots on goal at the 10-minute mark, and I literally put a tweet through that said, midway through the first period, we still do not have a shot on goal. And literally it went through, and then Mercer scored, and I literally deleted it. Like, one person saw it and was like, I'm like, obviously I'm going to delete it like now, but shotless in the first 10 minutes. I thought it was going to be an ugly night.
Well, I saw first shot, first goal, and immediately went, oh, Minnesota scored. And I was like, oh, no, it's us. Like, we're actually, what? Okay. And it was Mercer? All right.
How do you have to watch the games there?
So I split a package with some family members via Sportsnet. So I think each person's paying like $120, $150 for the year, but we get everything that Sportsnet offers, not just NHL, basically most things. Although I'll tell you this, if the Sportsnet package goes up again next year, I'm going to have to find some more lucrative ways to watch the games. Because Sportsnet is like they're so expensive now.
So we got Ryan Respects. To be fair, I think people naturally love watching hate content on things, justified or not. Apparently there's endless amounts of this in the world, and obviously the New Jersey Devils struggling mightily is just another example of that. We got a question for Edmund here. Who broke your guys' hearts the most that left the franchise? I'll let you go first. I'm curious, as a 2006-ish on fan, what I think I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
The first name that comes to me is I have blocked out that Marty went to the Blues. I don't believe that existed. That's a separate timeline. It didn't exist. Didn't happen. I refuse to believe that. Outside of Brodeur, it's probably going to be Parise. When he went to the Wild, I was like, no. Like, I was actually heartbroken that Parise ended up leaving. I loved Parise. Loved Parise, loved Eliage, and luckily Eliage stayed for the lifetime. But when Parise left to the Wild, I was crushed.
Yeah, that after a cup run too.
Yeah.
So I guess that cup run has to be like the pinnacle of your Devils fandom thus far.
Yeah, I mean, I remember actually sitting down and watching not just the 2003 cup run, but also the cup run against the Kings. And I was like, oh, it's Marty's last chance at a cup. So I remember watching that pretty fondly.
I guess for me, the left of mine would have to be Marty. I mean, I never thought in a million years we'd see him wear another jersey, and I've kind of tried to mentally block it out as well. But people always on this.
It doesn't exist.
All these groups and all these
never
things.
left.
Oh, St. Louis Blues legend Marty. I'm like, oh my god. See, Ryder respects.
And he played what? 4 games? 4 games for the Blues.
It was very.
He
let me see. Actually,
I don't think it was more than 10.
I was gonna get for some reason I thought it was 7, but let's see. And one of them he came in relief, and this is another great. It is 7. 7, yeah. One of the great regrets of my life when he was on the Blues, they were on the island playing the Islanders, and it was known he wasn't going to start. So I was like, if he was starting, I 1,000% was going to go. I'm like, I don't know that I don't know if you know anything about the area, but New York, New Jersey, complete traffic mess, disaster, takes forever to get anywhere.
Yep.
I was like, I don't think I have it in me to go to the island to just go see Marty in person, break my heart, wear a Blues jersey to see warmups. Like if I knew who was starting, I would have went. I forget who the starter was. It may have been Halak. I can't remember. Guy got lit up early.
That brings me back.
He gets pulled. He gets pulled. Marty gets thrusted in, and then they come back and end up winning the game. And then there's pictures of Marty like during warmups with a bunch of Devils fans with signs and shit. And I was like, damn it, like that one pissed me off because I really would have went if he started, but that's not how it played out. But Marty will forever have to be my heartbreaking situation. We have B now said I found you after a win being here. David Chimes, the negativity on YouTube is popular because you don't get enough negativity from MSG and the mainstream sports media. They tell the full story when things go right, but not when things go wrong. Oh, that I would say maybe not. Yeah. I've told people that too. Like, just for me personally, like I don't sugarcoat stuff. Like when times are bad, I say what I really think. And I think that's what sports fans in general want more than anything else is they don't want to be fed propaganda. And, I hate to say it, that's most of what you see on TV and whatever else. Like people want to sense that whatever they're watching, that these people are also enraged the way they are when they see certain things or streaks. It seems like they don't want to be told how everything's sunshine and rainbows and just be force-fed that. And I think that's why in this day and age with YouTube and some of these other platforms that there is room for people to talk about whatever because it's more uncensored, raw, and what other people are feeling. And so when they watch TV and all these things and all they see is the same kind of stuff with no kind of bite to it, and then they see people talking openly, they're like, this is refreshing. And I do think that is one of the beautiful things about the internet in 2025 in 2026. My God, I'm so old. Jay, so the videos did pop up on my YouTube till recently. Okay, gotta be that algorithm. What else we got? No mainstream reporter ever touches GM or coaching problems for fear of being shut out of interviews. Well, David, I don't know if you follow the Devils beat reporters, but they've been pretty bloodthirsty for, I would say, a couple weeks now. Yeah. Curious to see if there is any sort of ripple effect from that, because they've been pretty openly, I don't even want to say negative. I want to say realistic. They're saying a lot of the same things that we're all saying. I don't know what the, outcome of that's going to be. This guy, look at these people chirping me. Ace, it is past your bedtime, Unc. You're funny, Ethan. You're funny. It's my bedtime when I say it's bedtime. How about that? We got David says Ace and Austin say what Kenny Danico means when he grunts.
Yes. Yeah.
Dano's dying inside during a lot of these games. Any of the hot mic stuff, he got caught in the hot mic a couple of times. Classic. He's watching it like, oh my God.
Yeah. Or listening to Bryce Salvador almost cry, and I'm like, I feel so bad for you right now, because you can hear him on the hot mic from time to time, and he's just like, really, this is okay. Like, all right, going back to my usual broadcasting now, but like you can hear the guy almost like breaking down behind the mic, and I feel so bad for so many people in the Devils organization who are either broadcasters or reporters or our social media people, because it feels like all we ever get is a constant stream of like positivity, while the rest of us fans are like seething at the like frothing at the mouth with our anger and our frustration. And it's like, I don't really want to see like the, happy, you took the fat L kind of thing. It's like, I want you to actually like tell us how you feel, because we're furious and you guys are acting like this is just a regular part of like, we're just going to go on with our day. It's like, okay, yeah, I don't know. It is what it is.
All right. I got to start wrapping this up. I am old. These people chirping me, but I'm going to give me your closing, whatever. And then I'm going to jump back on. I'm going to give the full screen. We're going full screen. My man Austin let me put the link here first. From Devil's Den Hockey. He's rose to dominance in light of the Devils being awful, and it's a shame that this is the society we live in, but hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Check out his channel. Definitely go subscribe. I just dropped the link in the chat again. Austin's going to give you some closing comments while we go full screen.
All right, so here's the deal, guys. Good win tonight. Solid effort from the team. This has got to be step one. This is the step one rehabilitation to getting the Devils back on track. If they come out next game, and they're right back to playing how they were, every person in the audience should be booing. Every person in the audience should be shouting fire Fitz. But if they come out like they did today, then I think it's a good starting point, but now we got to build on it. And if you don't build on it, and if you don't care enough to build on it, well, there's the door. That's my closing.
I like it. The honesty. We need more of it. Austin, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was great to finally talk to you.
Thanks for having me on.
No, of course, man. My pleasure. I will enjoy this victory. Hopefully, we're enjoying some victories more regularly than we have in the past, 6 weeks, I would say.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty brutal stretch, but definitely appreciate you coming on. Everyone, go check out Austin's channel, Devil's Den Hockey. Go sub to him. Link is in the chat. I will certainly have him on again if he is willing.
Absolutely.
And it was great talking to you, man.
Yeah, you too.
I'm going to say have a good morning. We're in the morning hours now.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2:30, so I got to go sleep somehow. So we'll see how this works out.
I might have to knock myself out with some hard liquor. All right, man. Great talking to you. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
You too. Take it easy.
Take care. And that was Austin from Devil's Den Hockey. I just stumbled across his channel recently myself, and I guess it is the algorithm. Was just looking at random Devil stuff. He popped up. Definitely go give him a follow. Some great videos. I got to look which one I saw after a loss, and he had me dying. It was late in the morning after I ended my show and was doing a bunch of crap. But yeah, wow. Yeah, it wasn't planned. That was totally not planned. I was going to wrap this up a while ago, but I'm glad I did not. Austin, very responsive in the comments, and glad we were able to make that happen. I'll definitely have him on again. And wow, what a night for the New Jersey Devils, folks, huh? All right, let me get back to the comments here. Yeah, Ethan said I might need to sub to him and unsubscribe to Ace. Like I said, go ahead, man. World's Worst Gamer. I never checked many Devil streamers because most were homers. I think back to what we just talked about. People just want to feel authenticity. And I do think I've brought that from day one here, and appreciate all of you as this thing continues to go on and on. I'm always going to call it like I see it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And if it's bad, it's bad. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of bad recently. And again, I hate to dwell in negativity, hate to dwell in just bad vibes and everything about this team. But as of late, that's all it's been. And I will never, apologize for giving my honest opinions. And like I said, recently, it's been a lot of negative. Thrilled for this win. Hopefully they could build on it. One game is not changing anything for me. For me to emotionally invest myself at the level I was in terms of expectations, it will take quite a bit from this team, but we'll see. Hopefully this is a step of things to come. I mean, they're still right there in the playoff picture, but they have to consistently do this now. Maybe things are changing. BNS says victory. Austin, Ace, step one. If they tank next game, Arena should scream down boos. Take care, Ryan, and respect. Tropical Flamingo, can we funnel this into a strong effort versus Seattle, a club we have dominated recently as well as need to play hard in that game? Very important to see what we look like after this road win. 100%. Can't wait to see what the defense is going to be. We got Edmund, best Devils memory besides Cups. I'll go mine. First mine, 2006, 11-game win streak, and then swept the Rangers in the first round. That was a nice one from the Devils. Anytime you could beat the Rangers. I actually think I definitely have Marty's. I think I shared it on this channel, actually, when I was trying to do the memorabilia videos, which I kind of got away from. But I do have Marty's stick from Game 4 of the sweep. The game used Marty's stick from that beautiful series. What a night that was, too, man. Anytime you could beat the Rangers, my God. It would be nice for them to be relevant, too. Listen, I hate the Rangers, but, who wouldn't want to see another Devils-Rangers series, right? I mean, that series in 23 was magical. And the fact that we came back from down 2-0, Akira Schmid just going out there in MSG and getting 2 massive wins on the road, bringing that thing back for Game 5. Akira Schmid, guys, franchise legend forever. Ryan respects that was legendary. Good stuff, my man. Yeah, credit to Austin. Super responsive in the late night. Literally not even message. I commented on the video, and he commented back right away. And I was like, oh, baby, this is happening. An unexpected late night guest prolonged me going to sleep, and now I'm even more fired up. Yeah, I'm going to need like elephant tranquilizers or something, guys. I'm not that tired, but I know I need to go to sleep for my health. So good stuff, pushing each other. So maybe I'm really tired, but look like John Bernthal. Who the hell is John Bernthal? It's probably an insult. Hold on, let me Google John Bernthal, and then I'm going to see how insulted I am. Who the hell is John Bernthal? What the hell is this guy from? He looks familiar. Wait, but now I'm seeing different pictures. He looks wildly different in different things. Well, I don't know if I look like him per se, but I will say, like a lot of other things when I get comparisons, I certainly would like this man's bank account. John Bernthal got some bucks. A lot of projects listed on here for the pages with the different movies and shows. World's Worst Gamer, we want authentic. Oh, and you're only going to get authentic here. And Austin's delivering authenticity too. Just go watch the. Oh, now I need to. I think it was the Jets one. Pity the Fool. The Jets Pity the Fool one is the first one I saw, and I was crying. That's as authentic as it gets. Classic. Ryan respects us. See what happens when they win. We get streams like this, laughing my ass off. Being out Devil's Den, going to watch some of his videos tomorrow. Yeah, I'm excited to watch his win video when I get off of here, because my first introduction to him was the loss video. Classic. This guy said, but this is about John Bernthal. He could play you in a Devils movie scene where you're stealing food. Classic. Yeah, I'm the food thief, guys. The food thief and bandit. The Prudential Center bandit. Trouble, man, you guys are chatty in the late night. My God. Tropical Flamingo. Love these ones in Minnesota. They just keep coming. Only in Minnesota and Utah. I'm hoping at Vancouver and Seattle next 2 games I'll be at. We win, I go. 2 for 2 so far. Let's go Devils. Well, that'd be nice if your unbeaten streak continues. This team needs desperately to go on another heater. And I know people are going to be like, I mean, God, even if this team wins 4 wins, if they win like even 3 more in a row, I do think so many people, I'm not going to be one of them, but there will be so many people that are like, the Devils are back, man. Cup run is on, bro. Like, listen, it's going to take a lot. It is going to take a lot for me to get there in my brain. Like I said, nothing has changed in terms of me watching the games and loving the team. All that'll never change, but I'm not going to allow myself to emotionally start envisioning myself drinking those ice cold beers on Championship Plaza in April and May during the playoffs. I just cannot do it to myself. I've already kind of had a funeral for this season internally. I want to say it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was a couple days of grieving, and I was like, no, this is it. Like, we're not going anywhere. We're not going to the playoffs. It's all over in April, and we're now looking forward to next season in October. And it broke my heart, but I already had that funeral, and I was at peace with it. I hope they are able to build off this win and kind of revert course and shock us all and make the playoffs, because the reality is they are right there. But, like I said earlier, guys, the fashion, it's beyond losing games. When you lose in the way that they have, and that Islander one, like, my God, like, it doesn't get much uglier. We got Ethan says, question is, Hamilton trade list on NHL 26, or is that a random list? I don't know. What is that? What does that mean? Hamilton trade list on NHL 26. He has a 10-team pre-approved list of teams he would go to, and his agent also came out and said he would be willing to go to teams outside of that list. You know, how many, who knows? But Fitz just needs to get this over with. The longer this goes on, like I said, like, who are you playing on defense next game? Right? You've now opened up another can of worms on the season. Dougie had one of his best games in forever. You're going to pull him out? I mean, that's what people are going to say, right? Now, if it was up to me, unfortunately, I probably would. But the difference is they have information we don't have. And they may not be any closer to trading Dougie than any other time. Like, that could be the case. Like, we might be looking at a situation where he's not tradable. I hope that's not the case. And I would believe somebody would be interested. But it has to be on his list or another team he'll accept. And so are you going to scratch him every game? No. Nemo's back in the next game. Keith told us all. So, you know, he's got to be in. And that's why I'm just going to if I had to predict, I think there's going to be some kind of spin job on, you know, Kovacevic, back-to-back games. Maybe, you know, it was a heavy workload. He was out for 7 months. Like, we got to ease him back, or even more than that, actually. What was it? 9 months. Out for 9 months. We just want to give him some time to rest, and then we see Nemo and Dougie next game. I don't know. But long-term, this is not sustainable. You can't keep making up cover stories, and you're going to have to figure it out. World's Worst Gamer, the guy you had on has the potential to be the Devils version of JonTron. You guys make I don't know if it's because I'm old, or what the hell is JonTron? Now I got to look that up. JonTron? I hope that's not something mean. I hope that's something nice. I don't know what JonTron is. What the hell is JonTron? A guy who makes fun of bad things. What the hell is JonTron? Oh, now I got to go into the thing. You guys making me do extra work here. This is hard. I'm doing producing, engineering, trying to talk to people. Pull up. Holy shit. I don't know much about JonTron, but I'll tell you this. JonTron has 6.44 million subs. But he's disappeared, actually, off of YouTube at least. He hasn't done a video in over a year, but his videos got crazy views. Maybe JonTron got rich and the money killed him. I don't know. Tropical Flamingo, regardless of losses on the road, particularly sometimes out west or Midwest, a lot of Devils fans show out strong fan base. For sure, we deserve this level of play, not the garbage we saw on the island. A bipolar team, folks. A bipolar team. Which version will you get? That Islander loss version is as ugly as it gets. And the team you saw tonight will have some of you believing that they're capable of going on a deep run. It's going to take a lot for me to actually believe that. Once again, I'm always rooting for it. But in the grand scheme of things, not much has changed for me personally. I still think there needs to be a major shakeup. There needs to be a general manager change that all but seems guaranteed to not happen. And with him at the helm, my expectations are unfortunately just squashed because we've seen what this guy does in season, and it's basically nothing. He likes to do his moves in the offseason, but that's not going to do anything to help this team make a real playoff push now. So, I don't know. We can only hope and wish, like Fitz did during that 23-24 season when we sank like a rock due to horrible goaltending. Just, and he hoped and wished it got better. It did not. And then he gets Kakinen and Jake Allen on deadline day when it was all over. I honestly thought he should have been gone after that. To allow a team to miss the playoffs after a franchise record-setting season is a death sentence for employment, in my opinion. Edmund, have a good night, brother. Just found the channel recently. Much love from South Jersey. Keep up the good work. Let's go Devils. Thanks, Edmund. Appreciate you. Fairly Guitar. My family and I only get to go to one Devils game a year. We live in Minnesota. So glad the boys showed up. It was my sister's first hockey game ever. Let's go Devils. Oh, nice. You were in the building for Hughes Bowl 3, eh? You saw a rare win. There was a couple other people. I don't know if they checked in tonight, but at some point in the last week had mentioned they were going. And a lot of them were dreading it. They had booked it a while ago, and they're like, oh, my God, we're going to Minnesota to watch this team get slaughtered. But expect the unexpected. New Jersey Devils hockey. Should have been a 5-1 win. Ended up being 5-2. Ride and respect. They wanted realism, but do not put the actual clause details, just placeholders or random ones. Are you talking about the actual list? No, they'll never make that stuff public. It sure as hell be a lot more exciting if they did. If guys' pre-approved lists were out there, oof, that'd be phenomenal. Tropical, yes, sir. Gamer, that's the hope. We keep trying. Always awesome when we went on the road because you see other fans' reactions. Priceless. World's worst gamer. It's a good thing. He's a funny guy. Part of memes. Okay. Yeah, now I'm going to go down the JonTron rabbit hole as if I needed other things to preoccupy me from the primary function of sleep. But who could sleep after a rare Devils win like this, right? 5-2. Gets you just thinking a little bit like, can this version of the team show up more? Because as of right now, I hate even doing this, but I have to do it because we're in the wee hours and now we're like talking real time stuff. Let me just snip this. Like I said, guys, engineer, producer, on air. You gotta wear a lot of hats around here, Bang! All right, let me see what we got. We're gonna just pull this up. And this is pretty crazy. Now it's technically the morning of January 13th. And on the morning of January 13th, despite this team playing garbage hockey for 6 weeks, here they are. And it's crazy. Again, all these teams are stacked up and they're still in 7th in the wild card, but there are only 4 points. And that's a little misleading as well because the Sabres have two games in hand on us. They've played 2 less games. But 4 points out of the second wild card spot. Obviously, the issue here is having to leapfrog 5 teams to get into that spot. But a little 5-game winning streak could do wonders. Am I expecting them to do it? No, I'm not. Like I said, my optimism was sucked out of my body firmly by some point mid-December. Now, I hope that they do it. I'll be rooting for them to do it. I cannot allow myself, like I said, I already had the funeral in my head and a little candlelight vigil in my kitchen while I drown my sorrows in Jack Daniels. But would love to see them turn this thing around. Obviously, plenty of hockey left, but there is a ton of teams they're going to have to leapfrog, and division and conference games cannot be any bigger. You cannot go out there and shit the bed in these conference and divisional games. You just absolutely cannot. Points are precious, and they're going to be even more precious now. The New Jersey Devils with 34. Can you guys believe this? 48 games played. We have 34 games left. 34 games left on the season, and they're going to have to win. I don't even want to do the disheartening math right now, but they're going to have to win probably 20 some odd games for this to be a reality. All right, we're almost at the end here. I'm dying. How do we crowdfund a trip to get Austin out here for a live stream with Ace stealing food from The Rock? Man, you really like this food, the food stealing story, huh? Man. Devils fans go on pre-dates. I'm pretty sure you're talking about Damien's thing. Tropical Flamingo, we're ahead of the Rags and Canes lost tonight. Finally, a great night for us. Listen, let's not get crazy, guys. This was a win we desperately needed. The bleeding has stopped, but now I'm going to do the math just for fun, right? So the Devils have 48 points. Oh, my God. 522 points percentage hockey is vomit-inducing. Let's just pretend that I'm going to use 97. 97 points is what they need. So you're talking about a team that needs, we're cooked. This is just not a good outlook. They need 49 points in their next. Wait, hold on. 48 points and 40. I'm an idiot. Okay. See, I'm delirious. 48 points, 46 games played. So there's 36 games left. So we'll even use round numbers. Let's pretend 96 points gets you in. Nah, I like 97. I'm going to use 97. So we have 48. We need 49 more points in 36 games, which is 72 possible points. Yeah, these boys got to play 680 points percentage hockey. That is not an easy task whatsoever. And just to show how not easy it is, there's only a couple teams in the league playing 680 hockey or better right now for the season. Dallas Stars are playing 685 hockey. Obviously, the Avalanche are from another stratosphere, 822. And in the East, nobody's playing 680 points percentage hockey. So they have their work cut out for them. That's kind of the sad reality. Again, 97 points, no guarantee, but that certainly seems like it could be a somewhat realistic number. And 680 hockey, it's tough. It's tough, but the quickest, the best way to go about that is like rip off a 6-game heater. Then you redo the numbers, and it's like, okay, now they're down to, I don't know, high 5s or low 6s. It's manageable, but they got to start banking points. Can't give any more points away at all. Rider respect. You have to hope Pens and Bruins flame out and Caps finally decide to rebuild after 50 years. I hate to say it, guys. I don't think the Pens are going to flame out. Gino and Sid are legends. They know it's coming to an end. They desperately want to be in the dance again. Benjamin saying need to win 20. Well, listen, if they're only winning 20 of the 36, that 20 would give you 40 points. That puts you at 88. Yeah, in those 16 losses, you're going to need to have a lot of loser points in there. A lot of loser points. Tropical Flamingo, win versus Kraken sets up for a massive game versus Daddy. Oh, man. Don't remind me, guys. The Carolina Hurricanes are just, there's nothing else to say. They are Daddy. I mean, you have to just tip the cap. They've owned us for eternity, and they're coming back to the Rock on Saturday night. I mean, that would be a win on Wednesday would be beautiful, obviously. And then setting the table for a potential 3-game winning streak against the Canes. Let's not get crazy, but that would be some story to get our first win of the year over those guys and cement a 3-game win streak before going on the Western Canada trip. This Western Canada trip, I think, and it's the Western Canada plus Seattle on the road. It's a big 4-game trip. I think that's the make or break point of the season, folks. Western Canada plus Seattle will either be the boost this team really needed, or it's going to kind of be a mercy bullet pre-February. We'll find out. Zach needs to stop playing like the player we all wanted him to be in NJ. Otherwise, Boston is going to keep being a tough team to play. And I hate to be this guy, but look at all the guys that have gone on to play much better after they left. Kind of sucks. Tropical Flamingo, right now I'm realistic. I know what we're up against. I just want to see some progress. The losses have been horrific and disheartening. It was so nice to see a W. Completely agree. All right, that's it, guys. I'm done. I am done. Shout out to all of you. What a game. The New Jersey Devils, despite the entire world, except for your boy. I did predict 3-2 win pregame. I did. And it was a 5-2 win. Should have been 5-1, but it was 5-2. The New Jersey Devils, against all odds, find a way to get a huge win to stop the bleeding and are looking to take those good vibes home to the Rock Wednesday night against the Kraken. But shout out to all of you. Cheers to all of you. Thanks for coming out. Those victory drinks were beautiful. Special thanks to Austin of Devil's Den Hockey for stopping by with no plan or whatever. But that was a spur of the moment late night edition. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Go check out Austin and Devil's Den Hockey. Link in the chat again. Go sub. When I get off here, I'm going to go watch his victory video because like I said, I just found him. The algorithm favoring the negativity. I saw his hilarious Pity the Fool video after the Jets loss. But go check out Austin Devil's Den Hockey. Link in the chat. Go sub to him. That's it, guys. Devils win. It's going to be nice to ride this small feeling for the next couple days until we're back at it. Hopefully they deliver on the home ice for the home fans, and that's it. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. I'm working on a ton of stuff. Thank you all. It's been a fun ride, fun little hang tonight. And Jay Snow is in so much trouble. He disappeared a while ago, But just remember, Jay Snow wrote checks with that mouth of his that he's not going to be able to cash. And it will be in a vlog. I will deliver Jay Snow vomiting on the bar somewhere, or maybe outside. We'll probably do it outside because at least we don't have to worry about cleaning up and stuff at a tailgate. And that's going to be it, folks. I'm dying, but what a night. A rare Devils win these days. Hopefully they're more abundant in the very near future, and we're drinking victory drinks. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go.